We are back!
Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. Welcome to the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Great to have you with us. Hope the weekend was good. It's 7 o'clock. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Brooke Grimsley is here. Super Bowl champ Kerry Davis is here. I'm Randy Carricker. Matthew Rocchio is behind the board today. How we doing, kids? Everybody doing all right? Everybody hale and hearty and happy and healthy this morning? Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed?
Doing wonderful. Minus the
bit.
losses the St. Louis teams took over the weekend.
Yeah, it happens. Losses. Hey, the most important team won. That was the Hazelwood Central Hawks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
22-0 over Pattonville and advancing in the playoffs. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Very good win. Good team win. As a coach, you're never satisfied. I mean, you never, and I do mean ever, are you satisfied? Because there are a lot of things that we can clean up, and hopefully we get those things cleaned up for this week.
Let's
There
make
you
it happen. If you slept last night, then this happened while you were sleeping. Sporting Kansas, St. Louis City SC, game 1 of a best-of-3 first-round playoff series. Sporting KU wins by a score of 4-1.
That
It was ugly.
Ugly, deflating.
Deflating is good.
Disappointing. What other words could you use to describe it? I could not believe just the way that whole match played out last night. For one, and we were going back and forth in the group chat about this last night, but why not have Sam Adeniran or Gio start with Klaus to start the game? And then even then, in those adjustments, after you get blasted in the first half, why not in the second half make those adjustments early on? You saw what happened in the first half, right? You need to have Sam out there. And I thought that when Sam finally did get into the match, that Klaus looked a lot better. Even though it was such a shorter amount of time, I thought that Klaus looked a lot better. So it was a little head-scratching to me when that happened, when you're just going with one striker.
Yeah, even the announcers were, I guess thrown off a little bit.
Bewildered, maybe?
Yeah, bewildered is a good word. They were just, caught off guard that Sam Adeniran didn't start the game, didn't, and when he did come in, as you said, they were saying Klaus looked much better. He looked more comfortable, and they were, I guess, under the impression that he would start, that City would come with the same type of mindset that they have all year long, pressing, attacking, and really just getting after it. And it just wasn't, it wasn't what you would call great.
No.
Here's the way it unfolded. Logan and Dembe scoring for Sporting Kansas in the 27th minute, but 1 minute later, City came back.
Vasilev. Jackson tries to flick it on. It's Parker!
That made it 1-1. Remy Walter scoring in the 36th minute for KC. And then in the 39th minute, this was a deflator.
It is amazing to me how quick and reactions are on point from Gotti Kinda.
Oh, what a goal! What a half from Sporting KC!
Okay, it was KC, but it was kinda cool.
No.
Nice.
No.
Well done.
Yeah.
Props to the fans, though, for showing up and weathering through the weather, because it was very cold and rainy last night. 22,000. Rocc, I know that you were there. The atmosphere on TV looked absolutely electric, but it was not electric with what you saw on the pitch last night. That was just extremely disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, the fans were incredible. I mean, the fact, half of the entire lower bowl's out from under the overhang, so you're getting rained on. It's freezing cold, no matter where you were. I mean, it was rough out there. So the fans that come out there and cheer pretty much up to like the 85th minute when it was 4-1 and you're out of there. And I saw people taking shots, and it's like, are you kidding me? Go home. It's completely legitimate. You have work. The kids got school. It's cold. That poncho stopped working at about the 65th minute. Go home. I completely understand it. It was an ugly game on the field. City never played their game. They got completely ran.
Bradley Carnell, the head coach of St. Louis City SC, on what his team needs to do, his side needs to do, to generate more scoring chances.
Getting progressively up the field a little better. I thought we played too brave. We didn't play brave enough. We're a little bit cautious in certain moments, and sometimes you have to will yourself to a positive action and getting the ball in certain areas of the field. So I thought we were just a little bit too passive and not brave enough at certain times. And listen. We want to play vertical, we want to play progressive, and we want to get the ball in the opponent's half, and then we want to play the game. So we didn't get too many of those moments in the opponent's half to then get a back line up and then to get into the final third and then to control the proceedings. So we never really got to that momentum. yeah, and that was, credit to them, partly, but also, I think 58% possession, if I'm not mistaken. That's not our signature, At times when we're leading 3-0 and we can control the game, then by all means. But yeah, that's where a little bit more bravery should come into it.
To put it in layman's terms, they got punched in the mouth.
They did.
Quickly. And kept getting punched in the mouth. They responded with one punch back, but were unable to just keep going forward. And Sporting KC, I'm going to give them their respect today, just kept going after it, kept coming after them. And it didn't feel like the city that I've seen, that we've watched all year long, it didn't feel the same. So hopefully, you get some time off and you get some time to correct some things this week before you head to Kansas, and hopefully get a win there.
Well, and what works for City SC is to force them into possession and effectively low block them. City SC, when he was talking about possession, City SC has won one game all season when they've had 50%, well, less than 50% possession, and that was versus that Dallas team. And so when you're not doing that, it felt like it was not their game. It felt like they weren't getting their game, and I think it circles back to the way that you started the game. Sporting KC came out hot in that match last night, and they looked like they were ready to go. They were aggressive from the start, and I felt like that had to do a lot with, I was confused, and we were talking about it just a minute ago. Why not have Sam or Gio start with Klaus? Why not have two top forwards up top? And Cardinal was asked about that last night.
I didn't start a striker, might have been Joa or Sam, you know what I mean? So we chose to go with the extra 10 in the midfield, and, we thought we would create a little few more passing lanes between the lines, and it didn't really set up the way we wanted to. I thought we were a little bit too passive for that on the night. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good question. We'll have to just see what we decide coming over the next couple of days. But that was the decision we went with tonight. But, I don't think there's any guarantees that it was over Nico or Sam.
So they'll have a different looking lineup in Game 2 next week for Sporting KC and St. Louis City SC. On Friday, we talked about what a complete game the Blues had played the night before. They played another complete game on Friday night.
A complete what?
Well, complete piece of whatever.
They had a game?
Yeah, here's their coach,
Did
Chief.
they know?
Yeah.
Oh, we got outskated and outworked pretty much. Took 3 penalties in the first period, 4 maybe, 3 or 4. I mean, you're on your heels. We got out of there 1-0, so, it came out and, gave up another goal and just sloppy. Not very good.
Came out of the gates outshot 15-2. It didn't get any better from there, and they lost 5-0.
That's not great. How do you... How? I just want to know how. Because we sit here and we talk about, as a professional athlete, you perform. The ups and downs of this team so far this season are astounding. I mean, it's you wouldn't be able to do this if you tried, I don't think. But I don't know if they're trying. I don't know if from game to game, what happens after a win that makes you say, yeah, we got it, we're good. And then you show up the next game and get your teeth kicked in, and you're like, maybe we're not that good. Maybe we need to try a little. What is that?
One of the things that's historically happened with the Blues, and I don't know why, maybe it happens with every team, and I just don't watch closely enough, but it seems like after they have a win, like they had against Calgary, all of a sudden they think they're good, and they can just throw the pucks out on the ice, and they're going to win the game. It doesn't work that way. You've got to get out and work every single night, and clearly on Friday night, they didn't work as hard as they needed to work, and they were outplayed and outskated and out-efforted by the Canucks.
It was sloppy, it was slow, it was bad. Vrana, a healthy scratch for 2 games. So you have that 24-hour period with the back-to-backs. I was honestly expecting Vrana to be back in at least that second game. But I do understand if something worked against the Flames, you're going to try to do it the next day, essentially. And it didn't work. It just looked poor. I don't think the 24 hours is an excuse, and I know that the Blues didn't use it as an excuse, but I hope in their mind they're not trying to, behind the scenes, trying to reason, saying, well, it was just 24 hours. If anything, you should have built off the momentum. And the highs and lows, when they lose so badly this season. And it's so early on, but how many times did we say that with the Cardinals? Where
Right.
it's early
Yeah.
on. It feels like that almost essentially, obviously, two very different sports. But remember with the Cardinals early on, when they lost, it was very deflating and demoralizing, and it just felt like it was just more than a loss. It felt like there was something very glaringly wrong.
Let's throw one other possibility out there, that the Blues just aren't that good.
That would be, and as we said before, the athletic writers may have been absolutely correct. That this team is not going to win more than 2 games or lose more than 2 games in a row. They are middle of the pack, middle of the road, just there. But with that being said, that's still an issue. The issue being not competing every single night.
Consistent effort.
That to me, if you can go from one night, one game to the next and not perform at a level where you say, okay, that team was just better than us. You know, we're still working on some things. We're not good enough at this moment. But when you go from losing in the manner and how you lost to the Coyotes, then you come back and you beat the Penguins, you're like, okay. Then you lose to the Jets, you're like, and then you beat the Flames, you're like, oh, okay, good. We might actually. And then you come out and lay a complete egg against the Canucks. That to me is troubling, that you can't have the consistency from game to game, night to night. These are the same players, if I'm not mistaken. I don't care where you travel to. I don't care how. None of that matters. It's not like the 70s where you're taking buses throughout the country, or 60s. No, you're flying. You're getting there in a reasonable amount of time. There's no reason for the ups and downs that this team is having at this moment.
The World Series is even at a game apiece. They'll play Game 3 tonight. They'll be crazy at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. The St. Louis and the Parkway Central product, Max Scherzer, goes against Brandon Pfaadt of the Snakes. And let's go Snakes. Snakes are...
Really?
Yeah, Snakes are fun.
Okay, you're going to go with that. Is that because Tommy Pham and what he did in Game 2? Are you a Tommy Pham fan?
I am a Pham fan.
But what about what Adolis Garcia did in Game 1?
That's pretty impressive.
I mean, that was
Pretty impressive.
Pretty nice.
Well,
Yeah.
these former Cardinals, huh?
Yeah, there's a few running around and participating in this series. And college football on Saturday. If you missed it, Kansas beat Oklahoma, number 6 Oklahoma, 38-33. Mizzou didn't play and moved from 16 to 14. The guys have got it figured out. Just have buys the rest of the season. They'll be number 6 at the end of the year.
There we go.
Yep.
Well, they got a game this weekend versus the Georgia football team.
I know. 2:30 on CBS, Kerry.
They're rocking and rolling.
When's the last time the Tigers had a 2:30 CBS Saturday game? Do we know? McKernan will remember.
Yeah, McKernan will have that.
Is game day at the game?
No.
Probably not, because
Who's playing that weekend?
is that Bama? No, it's not Big
Bama's
Bama game.
LSU at night on CBS.
Yeah,
I need to get to a
Yeah.
Bama. I need to get to an
Bama
LSU
LSU 's
game at night.
I mean, that's always tough to beat.
Yeah, I need to get to one of those. There aren't any other top 10 matchups.
It could be.
Why wouldn't it be? What's going on here?
Why do they not want to?
K-State and Texas.
I care a lot less. I care a lot less about game day when it's
in Georgia.
Yeah,
You
when it's
should
not at
want
Mizzou.
your team to be on game day. What are we doing?
I want game day, but
What's going
I
on
care
here?
a lot more about whether or not it happens when it's going to be in Columbia.
Have you ever heard of the saying beggars can't be choosers?
Sorry, buddy. 14th overall in the nation right now.
Oh, my God.
Ain't no beggars
Have
here.
you met Matthew Rocchio, by
No,
the
I
way?
have not.
Oh, okay.
Clearly.
That's
No beggars here, Kay. I don't know what you're talking about, buddy.
I don't know if that quote applies to him.
USC Washington? No, I don't want to
They
see
might do
USC Washington.
LSU, Alabama.
LSU, Alabama.
I think there's a good chance it's
Game day.
LSU, Alabama.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's
They've
make it
both
at
lost some
Georgia.
games. I think it should be at Georgia. I think you're right.
There you see. I
I think you're right. I think it should be at
You know what I
Georgia.
realize about you? You're just gonna have a rebuttal until you finally come along. Like you gonna whatever
Until you
it
give me
is-
a reason not to? Wow, what a novel concept.
No.
It's like I want a reason to agree with you.
I love you, Rock.
These side conversations. If you guys could only hear how it goes in the post-show
We need our
meeting.
own show. Rock and I need our own show. 2
there-
hours every once a week.
I'm going to say, you guys are going to burn through a memory
we'll
card.
We'll solve through the issues of the world.
They got nothing else going on 105.7 TMA. They could use us.
So Utah. Okay, no, that was last week, right?
Somebody said game day is at Ole Miss.
Who's
Oh, that
playing?
makes sense.
Who are they playing?
At the Grove. Yeah, that's smart.
Who are they playing? Why do we care about Ole Miss?
They're top 25.
Texas A&M.
Oh, that'll be
Come
fun.
on, what's Texas A&M's record?
Not great, especially
great.
for a $100 million coach.
He's made a lot of money. Him and Sumlin have about the same record and they fired old Summy.
In fairness to the people at game day,
4-5-3.
next week at Georgia, they have Ole Miss, so you can just do that game too if you don't go to Georgia this week.
We're off and running here on the opening drive. Coming up, what we loved about the weekend here on 101 ESPN.
This Sunday, it's an NFL Sunday triple header. Game 1, Packers and Rams. Game 2, Raiders and Giants. Game 3, Bengals and Bills. Coverage starts Sunday morning at 11. The NFL plays on 101 ESPN.
He's already got 2 goals. He's looking for a third. He passes the scotch, finds the bourbons, reaches high. He scores! If you've got a hat, chuck it at your radio. It's a hat trick.
Kerbs, you really don't have to do that every time.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just get so excited about this hat trick special at Randall's. You walk into any of Randall's 5 locations, look for the items with the blue dot, pick any 3, and save 10%.
Okay, well, I guess you're right. The hat trick special at Randall's is pretty awesome.
He walks up, puts the 3 bottles at the register.
Kerbs, seriously?
Sorry.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of holiday joy at the Home Depot, where you can find everything you need to get ready for the holiday season, like all new festive outdoor decor. Spread more joy this season with bigger, bolder, and brighter inflatables from the Home Depot, like our exclusive new 8-foot animated Santa and reindeer inflatable for just $149. Available in-store and online.
Ho, ho, ho.
Get holiday ready right now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
McDonald's Mix and Match deal makes me feel like I've been dealt a winning hand. They're letting me take home the Sausage McMuffin with egg, with its melty slice of American cheese, and the Bacon, Egg, and Cheese biscuit, topped with thick-cut Applewood smoked bacon. You can even get 2 of the same breakfast sandwich for just $4.69. At McDonald's, I know that whatever I choose, it'll be a winning hand. Today's draw, 2 of a kind. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
101 ESPN has your chance to score free tickets to see Blink-182. One mobile app.
This is the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Brought to you by Sumner.
All right, here's what we loved about the weekend here on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Brooke Grimsley, do you want to start?
Oh, yeah.
Number 2.
This weekend, I got to debut my Halloween costume, guys.
Yes. Nice.
And I dressed up as one of the greatest couples in sports. No, not Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Okay.
But Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby and Carly Bobby.
Yes.
And you might say they're fictional. It's not real. It's real to me, guys. If you ain't first, you're last. And so David and I dressed up David, obviously Ricky Bobby, because I'm going to dress up as Carly. It was a fantastic costume. But guys, we lost the couple's costume contest with the Halloween party that we went to.
Who won?
The couple that dressed up as Almost Famous characters.
Almost Famous.
You know that movie with Kate Hudson where she was like a groupie?
I have no clue.
No? Okay.
No.
So somebody else.
And that's what I'm saying. So when you see the full ensemble for how David and I dressed up, you could immediately tell that we were Ricky Bobby and Carly.
You feel like you should have won?
Yeah.
You ain't first, you're last.
Yeah, there it is.
Look, do you think maybe that a costume change halfway through to the Amy Adams character, who he ends up with at the end of the movie, do you think that could have swung the judges in your favor?
Possibly, yeah.
Like they were like, oh, no, I don't know, like she cheated on him halfway through the movie with Dale. I don't like this girl. I don't know, maybe public opinion went against you.
I think maybe that's what it was. But it was a fun weekend, guys, just celebrating Halloween, dressing up as Ricky and Carly Bobby, and we had a lot of fun. Yes.
Real simple, son. Cops are coming. There's a kilo of Colombian Bam Bam under the car.
Time to be a man.
Chip, I'm coming at you like a spider monkey.
Wish that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
It's such a great movie, right?
You got a lot of quotes. Very, very good. My number.
Someone didn't love you enough when you were little, did they?
Now, give me a one-liner from Almost Famous.
I have no clue.
Never heard
Exactly.
of it. Never,
you hear that
never
Halloween
seen
party? You hear that?
I've never seen it. I don't think. You named some people in it, but I don't know if I've ever.
Okay,
Good luck.
that's about it. That's all I can remember.
Pretty sure he screams, "I'm king of the world" on top of a roof, and that's it.
There you
That's
go.
all I got in my head.
Yeah.
See?
Don't know anything about it.
So David did go up to the almost famous guy on Saturday at the party, and our 101 ESPN microphones were there.
But maybe, just maybe, you might challenge me.
That's so good.
So my number two, it was a great weekend of football, NFL, college games, but watching the Bengals do what they do out in San Francisco against the 49ers, a team that I picked to be in the Super Bowl. I told you all, Joe Burrow getting over that calf injury, having that week off last week, really settling down and settling this offense down. It's been fun to watch the Bengals figure things out. Jamar Chase is back doing Jamar Chase things. Joe Mixon scores a touchdown. They're running the ball, not as much as I would like, but they're running the ball enough. And defensively, Pratt had a interception that I don't know how in the world he even got that interception, but they're playing at a high level, and it's fun to watch the Bengals, despite all of the injuries and issues that they had to start the season, start to come around.
Guys, my number two was yesterday over at Chaffetz. The Billikens with an exhibition game against Berea. They win it 98-60. Now, Berea's a D3 school, and it was an exhibition game, but Travis Ford has said he wants his team to fire up 30 3-pointers a game, and they were firing up the 3-pointers. It was a fun game to watch, and it looks like it's going to be a fun team to watch. It's going to be a team without a clear number 5. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a lot of 3-guard looks, and you're probably going to have some real challenges, especially once you get into conference play. But it'll be, if not a great team, it'll be a fun team to watch.
So it's kind of like the opposite of the Cardinals. They got a lot of 1s, 2s, and 3s.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's a good one.
Number 1.
My number 1 is going to be City SC continuing to make history. First goal is just getting things started this season for City SC, right? And being able to start this inaugural season, not many people were expecting them to do anything. We talked about that a lot, about what the national pundits have said, but they were able to make history this regular season. And this was the first playoff match. This is the first time that they're doing this in history, too. Now, the performance on the pitch is not what you wanted to see, but the fans, the atmosphere that they created last night was just absolutely incredible to see. 22,000 plus. I was watching all the videos of people coming in dressed for the weather, and they weathered through all of that. And even towards the end there, honestly, I think a lot of people would leave, but there was still a lot of fans sticking around, cheering on City SC despite that, despite what happened at the end there. And to me, I think that shows once again why St. Louis sports fans are the best, because they show up, they're loud, and they're proud, and you saw that during the match last night.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere. Game, not so much. You would hope that City would have come out with a little bit more fire, but they got another opportunity in Kansas in this weekend. So hopefully they can fix the things that need to be fixed, tie that series up, and bring it back to St. Louis. My number 2 is, my number 1 is our playoff win over the Pattonville Pirates this weekend. Great effort by our guys. Young men did a great job, 22-0, just fighting our butts off. Anytime you can win in the playoffs is a spectacular thing, so hopefully we can keep it going for this weekend.
Love it. Congratulations. Let's keep it going. Guys, my number 1, one of my favorite things in sports, and I like to do it as a sportscaster. I like to mentor young people and have them be better. And I love to see it in all sports. And on Saturday night, Matthew's Denver Nuggets played the Oklahoma City Thunder, and his buddy Nikola Jokic goes against the youngster Chet Holmgren. And Jokic has some advice for Chet Holmgren. He says, To be honest, he needs to get fatter. That is the best advice in the world. I love when somebody mentors somebody and says, get fatter. That's what
it?
athletes
Was there
need.
more to that?
Yeah, well, he said, I think he needs to be a little bit fatter, to be honest. But yes, he has talent that is unique. So, yeah, Matthew.
Some context to that is in the game, Jokic elbowed him in the face.
Is he from Angola?
Charles Barkley.
He elbowed him in the face and then was mad that there was a foul called. Like they were like, no flagrant regular foul, and Jokic was still like, why is it a foul at all? And so clearly he was teaching him a little bit, because the very next possession after the foul was called, he went down, bodied him under the hoop, and went in for an easy 2. And it was like he was teaching him lessons the entire game.
As Rod Beck, the former Red Sox and Giants and Cubs closer, once so famously said, and it was the most accurate statement in the history of sports, you can't pull fat.
Yes.
So
it's very accurate.
I loved seeing the mentorship on the part of Jokic for young players in the NBA. And oh, by the way, I would have used the Rams getting smoked and their quarterback messing up his thumb, but it was to the Cowboys. So
it's a little situation for you, huh?
Yeah. I just wish Jerry
Can't
would
win
have
them
been. I wish Jerry would have been so excited that heart would have started racing. Just that's that.
And Randy,
no, I just wanted
his adrenaline to rush.
Get the blood flowing.
Yeah.
I feel like you're insinuating something
Maybe
there,
I
Randy.
am, Brooke. Maybe I am.
We scrub that. We can't have any proof of this.
I just want him to. I just want his heart to be going. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Because if it's not going, then
I want it to be going so well that it
keeps going.
Doesn't anymore.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Jara, come on. You like him?
You're joking, right?
Yes.
Hey, you can watch us on the YouTube.
That's why I'm asking you to nod your head.
At YouTube and go to 101 ESPN STL, and you can watch us on the Air Alliance Team Studio Cam. And by the way, the interviews and the segments that we have will be on our podcast, and you'll be able to hear that podcast, of course, on our podcast network on 101ESPN.com or on the 101 ESPN app, and that is brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Center. Next up, 4 downs from Week 8 in the NFL on 101 ESPN. There are a lot of people in our area that are working a job or two every single day and don't have the wherewithal to support a vehicle and still need to get to those jobs. And that's why we have Metro. It's one of the top public transportation systems in the country, and it really does wonderful things for people that need it. Metro supports local businesses and the people that get to those local businesses and helps to reduce traffic congestion, but it also helps those people get to work. So even if you don't use Metro, you should know that there's a lot of people that use it and need it. Because a healthy, vibrant public transportation system is critical to attracting businesses that create a significant amount of jobs in our region. And of course, if you're concerned about the environment, riding Metro reduces your carbon footprint and helps to improve air quality as well. I've used Metro for sporting events for years, and I hope you will too. Don't let preconceived notions hold you back. Give Metro a chance and experience the benefits for yourself. It's easy, and it's convenient, and it's inexpensive, and you don't have to deal with the hassle of parking. In short, thanks to Metro, you don't have to drive to thrive.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Last night in the first playoff game in St. Louis City history, it did not go their way as they led up an early goal from Sporting KC. They equalized with a Tim Parker goal, the first goal scorer in city history, now the first playoff goal scorer in city history, but then 3 unanswered for Sporting KC to close out that game, a 4-1 win. They take game 1 of a 3-game series. They will now play a home match back in Kansas City against St. Louis City. That will be on Sunday at 5 p.m. And they again can clinch the next round with that win. And game 3 tonight in the World Series, it'll be Scherzer versus Brandon Pfaadt after the D-backs even up this series at 1 game apiece with a 9-1 victory over the weekend. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Week 8 in the National Football League concludes tonight here on 101 ESPN with the Lions and Raiders playing 6:30 pregame, as you can hear the vaunted Lions against Josh McDaniels' Las Vegas Raiders.
How much longer are they Josh McDaniels' Las Vegas Raiders?
About 8 more games or so.
You think he's going to make it the entire season?
Yeah, I don't think they want to spend the money to do it again. They're a mess, and their mess is at the top with Mark Davis.
Yeah.
Let's get things started with First Down.
So we were, well, I don't know. You all saw the debacle that was the Jets-Giants game. That was one of the worst games I think I've ever seen in football history. The Giants had an opportunity there in the fourth quarter to seal the game, 4th and 1. They decided to kick a field goal, which they miss. And then the Jets take it down with 0 timeouts and able to get 50 yards, spike the ball, kick the field goal.
Greg the leg,
and then go on and win the game. Brian Daboll, and we were talking about it in the break, Tyrod Taylor injured again. He might have some of the worst luck as a quarterback. Got a punctured lung before a game, which he was supposed to start in Los Angeles a few years back. That was Justin Herbert's first game ever started.
Doctors gave him the punctured lung by giving him a shot.
Gave him a shot. I failed to mention that. Punctured lung by a needle prior to the game. Gets injured. Illinois' own Tommy DeVito comes in. No, we don't know.
No, we don't claim him, huh?
Oh, we're not going to clap for that before. That might have been, I don't know. It's just not good enough. And no offense to that guy, right? It's just not good enough to get a win. And that might have been the worst football game I've seen. 24 total punts. Like, come on, man. You all are professional football players. Somebody should be able to complete a pass. It's just, I don't know. The New York Giants passed for -9 yards when you account for the sacks.
I think one thing we can say about sports.
It just doesn't even seem real.
Here you have the biggest market, right? Mm-hmm. Both NFL teams in New York suck. The Rangers suck. The Islanders haven't won a cup in forever. Baseball, the Yankees haven't been to a World Series since 2009. The Mets suck. I mean, you look at the Knicks suck. The Nets fall on hard times. You know that sports isn't fixed because if they were, New York would win at some point.
The Yankees?
Yeah. They get a nice thing at some point, right?
It can't be. I mean, Zach Wilson led the team, the New York Jets, in rushing with 25 yards. They got Breece Hall on their team. They also have Dalvin Cook, which I don't know if they know he's on their team.
He wants to be traded by tomorrow.
He signed there, man.
I know. Yeah. He signed with Aaron Rodgers there, though.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
He was like, I didn't agree to this.
That was some tough football to watch.
Yeah.
2nd down.
Well, guys, I really want to talk about the Panthers getting their first win this season. Just kidding. The Tennessee Titans are back, baby. We have ourselves a starting quarterback, Will Levis, a.k.a. Mr. Mayo Boy. Guys, things are exciting in Tennessee right now. I am thrilled because I wasn't expecting much from Will Levis. I was actually expecting 0. I had 0 expectations because the Titans have done nothing but disappoint me this season. And to say that Will Levis has injected some life into the Tennessee Titans would be an understatement. Picture this. Throwback Oilers jerseys.
Love them.
Love it. Yep. You have alumni in the building. Will Levis, 19 of 29. For 238 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 of which went to DeAndre Hopkins. Did you guys know that he existed with the Tennessee Titans?
He played football.
Yeah, and 2 of those totaled 47 and 61 yards. Will Levis looked confident. I don't know if it's because he puts the mayo in his coffee before he goes out there in the game like he supposedly did with Kentucky, but I get it is just one game, but check out this stat, guys. Prior to Sunday, the Titans hadn't scored more than 27 points in a game since Week 18 of 2021, but they dropped 28 with Will Levis, and they were able to beat the Falcons 28-23. And this feels possibly reminiscent of that Titans 2019 campaign. Do you guys remember that, where they started off the year? It's okay. It's okay to forget things about the Titans, Randy.
Is that the year they lost? That's not the year they lost in the playoffs.
It is, but hear me out, CD. They started out 2-4, and then you had a quarterback change.
Okay.
Could this be
to Ryan Tannehill?
Yes.
Yeah. From Mariota? Was that?
Yeah.
Was it Mariota?
Yeah, I think
can't
it was.
remember. Was it Mariota? Yeah. But
because when Tannehill got hurt in the playoff game, Mariota had to play.
Or was that Josh Dobbs? Or am I imagining that?
That was last year.
That was last year.
I'm getting my years mixed up.
I mean, they have such a rich playoff history.
Yes, they do. But either way, could this be the start of the new era for Will Levis? And if Ryan Tannehill supposedly is supposed to be ready next week, do you put Ryan Tannehill back out there?
No.
He's done.
Ryan
you
Tannehill
drafted 2 quarterbacks for a reason in the last 2 years.
Ryan Tannehill is a Viking next week.
No.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was saying that plays into the segment coming up here soon, because I was going to say, if you're the Titans, do you try to move Ryan Tannehill to Minnesota?
Yeah, I would. You probably do. They need a quarterback.
Third down. Okay, guys, I know what the odds say, and I know what the talking heads say, that the MVP of this league has to be Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts or Tua Tagovailoa. There's only one guy that can be the MVP of this league.
Say the right name.
A team that's 5-0 with the guy and 0-3 without him. It's Deebo Samuel. You talk about value. If they're 5-0, the 49ers are, with Deebo Samuel. He gets hurt early in their 6th game. They lose that one, and then they lose the subsequent 2. He'll come back after their bye. He'll be healthy, and they'll win the rest of their games. There's no doubt about who the most valuable player in the NFL is. It's Deebo Samuel.
Somehow I thought you were going to go with another receiver down in Miami who's the first to ever get to 1,000 yards after 8 games.
He's pretty good, but he's got a counterpart.
He's pretty good. Well, Deebo got a counterpart. Brandon Ayuk is not a slouch at all.
No.
That team does look different without Deebo Samuel. I think he does so many things. It just changes the offense because now you're limited. Deebo can line up in the backfield. You can run the ball with him. You're not going to run the ball with Brandon Ayuk. You're not going to run the ball with Jennings or any of those other guys, McDonald. You just aren't. That's not their game. So you could put him in so many different places. You could put Christian McCaffrey out in the slot and just swap those two. They have the same roles, but it changes your offense and it changes your philosophy when you don't have him in the lineup. And they are suffering because of it. Now, defensively, he doesn't play defense, so somehow, some way, they got to figure out how to get more stops. They gave up 31 points yesterday to the Bengals. That's not good enough.
One of the things you have to do by the NFL is choose who you want to keep. And the Kansas City Chiefs are paying 3 players right now. They're paying Mahomes, Kelsey, and Chris Jones. 2020 hindsight, they probably should have paid Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, he's actually really good.
Yeah. Now, I don't know where you sacrifice, because they're to the bone in terms of the rest of their players. Their other receivers aren't making money. Their running backs aren't making money. They had to give their offensive line money, but they already lost Orlando Brown. Jones is the only player on defense that's really making money. So I don't know how you would have kept him, but 2020 hindsight, they probably should have.
Can you restructure Travis Kelce's contract and make some moves here at the trade deadline to just free up some money?
I don't know if anybody's going to deal anybody to Kansas City, though. If you're an AFC team, why would you trade a receiver to KC? If you're a contending AFC team.
Prior to yesterday, you might have been able to get DeAndre Hopkins. Like, you may have been able to trade away, some draft picks for DeAndre Hopkins, but I don't know. When you had that performance that you have yesterday, you probably say, we might be able to figure some things out here in the AFC South. Anything's possible. Anything is possible.
Especially in the AFC South.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, anything can happen.
You talk about the Chiefs players not making a lot of money, the receivers, they're not making a lot of plays.
No, they are. That's why I said
the problem.
And by the way, fourth down. Let's tell you what Tyreek Hill is doing. He had 8 catches for 112 yards and a touchdown yesterday as they hammered New England 31-17. The Patriots didn't have a chance. It was men against boys. Hill has 1,014 receiving yards. He's the first player in 62 years and the 4th player in NFL history with 1,000 receiving yards in his team's first 8 games. He joins Charlie Hennigan, who did it in 1961, Hall of Famers Crazy Legs Hirsch, who did it in 1951 for the L.A. Rams, and Don Hudson of the Packers, who had 1,032 yards in his first 8 games in 1942. So the first guy in 62 years and the 4th overall, Tyreek Hill, to have 1,000 yards in his team's first 8 games.
Why is it, with the way that offense, what the hell were they doing in the 50s and 60s throwing that ball that much?
Well, they were different. And people
Everything was free-flowing back then.
Yeah. The 3 or 4 people that are alive that saw Don Hudson play say that he was as good as anybody.
Wow. That's pretty good. I mean, he is on pace to get 2,000 yards. And just the way that they're playing football, the Dolphins, minus those couple of games that they lost, they are a fun team to watch.
Yeah. And in the Super Bowl era, Hill passes Odell Beckham Jr. for the most receiving yards in his first 25 games. This is a really good one. 2,724 yards in his first 25 games with the team. That's pretty amazing. That's first 25 with Miami.
He's doing really well.
Those are 4 downs from the National Football League on 101 ESPN. Coming up, get your text in to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. Take it or leave it, coming your way next on 101 ESPN.
It was
You could win a magical holiday staycation for 4 at St. Louis Union Station, plus a first-class ride on the Polar Express. Just drop off a donation at your local Goodwill and get a secret entry code plus 20% off St. Louis Union Station attractions. Visit mersgoodwill.org for more details.
You work hard to keep your business running. Let Sumner One manage your office technology solutions. Learn how they can improve your productivity today at sumnerone.com. That's sumnerone.com.
Stalter back with you for Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. They have over 700 new and used vehicles combined in one location. That's right. The St. Louis region's #1 stop for colossal car buying destination. It's Auto Center's Nissan and Used Super Center. Again, 700 vehicles, new and pre-owned, that you can select. You can drive off the lot and feel great about it because they've got financing for everyone. They give you the 30-day return as well. It's a guarantee on new Nissan. They're so confident you're going to love your new car. They're going to give you 30 days to bring it back. No one else does this. The discounts and deals are back. Thousands of dollars in savings on new and used cars, plus no payments for 3 months, new and used, no down payments, new and used, and rates as low as 0% APR. Select models available. Your choice, biggest discounts is Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. Go visit them. Brand new spot out in Herculaneum. And don't forget, tell them Stalter sent you.
Hey, there's a lot of great things happening with Schnucks and the Schnucks Rewards program. You know, you can reward yourself daily with the Schnucks Rewards app and earn 2% back on every purchase you make. It's simple. Shop, earn, and redeem. Just show your barcode in the app or give them your phone number at checkout, and you can get that 2% back. And you get points and money off. You can order from the deli ahead of time, skip the line, and have your deli product waiting for you in a cooler at the deli. There's also exclusive coupons just for you in the app, and you can create a shopping list that organizes your shopping trip by aisle and really makes your shopping trip efficient. We have a lot coming up here in the next month or so. Thanksgiving is on the way. Start putting together that list for your Thanksgiving feast and make sure that you use the Schnucks Rewards app while you're picking up your turkey and all the fixins for a fabulous Thanksgiving meal. And don't forget, tomorrow is Halloween, and they've got all kinds of great Halloween candy for you. Before you go to Schnucks and pick everything up, make sure that you download the Schnucks Rewards app.
Time for Take It or Leave It.
Want to say something? Want to put it out there? If you like it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back.
Get your text into 314-399-9646 and give us your Take It or Leave It.
Brought to you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and start packing.
That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
All right, take it or leave it now on 101 ESPN. And I gave you guys this one last night via text so that you had time to ponder it. Last night, the Chargers improved to 3-4 with their 30-13 win over the 2-6 Bears on Sunday Night Football. Take it or leave it. Next year, Jim Harbaugh will be coaching one of the teams that participated in last night's Sunday Night Football game.
Ooh. With everything heating up, I'm going to have to take it.
Does he go to Chicago?
He played there. He plays Bears football. He's a Ditka guy.
That might, you know what? I may have to take that.
And, oh, by the way, skill set-wise, Justin Fields, Colin Kaepernick, who he took to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I would take that. going back home, as long as he doesn't wear his khaki pants and cleats, I'm okay.
Okay.
The cleats, Randy, I have an issue with
But, Kerry, I think Bears fans will eat that up.
Yeah, that's so weird.
It is.
It's so weird. You're not playing. You're done. You're old. We're old.
Yeah.
Just watch. Just enjoy coaching.
By the way, Jim Harbaugh, very underrated, immaculate grid guy. He got around.
Yeah, he played on a few teams, huh?
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't have to use his name.
Bears, Colts, Chargers, Panthers.
I didn't know Chargers.
Yeah, here, let me give you that one. Hold on here 1 second. Jim Harbaugh, I can type fast here, 88 words a minute back in the day. Okay, Jim Harbaugh, as you know, started with the Colts, took him to an AFC, Bears. Bears, Colts, Ravens, Chargers. So he didn't go to the Panthers. It was the Ravens rather.
But still good for immaculate grid. You know what?
Yeah,
I think I'm going to take it, Randy, because all signs point to that looking like it could happen.
Mhm.
I like that.
All signs.
And you can't keep him at Michigan anymore.
Yeah, probably not. So the Blues are up and down. They're struggling a little bit. We saw the Athletic wrote that this would happen. We didn't believe it. And they also wrote that Craig Berube could be on the hot seat if they don't win games. Take it or leave it, he could actually be on the hot seat if this team continues to perform in this manner.
I'm going to take it.
I'm going to have to take it too, sadly. And I do not like having to admit that the national athletic writers are right about how things have gone, but it's been pretty accurate so far. They said that they wouldn't be able to really gather any sort of win streak or even losing streak. And what has this been so far this season? It's been up and down. And then with everything that's going on with the Blues, you do have to look at the coaching. The power play is atrocious. I don't even know. And I know that that's more on his coaching staff too, but still it's the coaching staff he hired. So these mistakes that you're seeing still all goes back to Berube.
I still have an issue with the number of how you're being outshot in every single game, minus the game against the Flames. They actually outshot the Flames in that game. But every game other than that, they have been outshot. And you said 15-2 in the first period? Shots.
To start the game, yeah.
To start the game,
That's absurd.
It is.
Bennington bailed them out. That should have been like 5-0 in that first period, but the fact that it was just 1-0, I think it's all Bennington in that when it was early on.
Yeah, figure something out.
Take it or leave it, guys. I said this earlier, but I want to reiterate it because I want this Will Levis era to start in Tennessee, as I mentioned that 2019 campaign when they, made that switch 2-4 under Marcus Mariota, and then you moved over to Tannehill. Well, Tannehill, it's time to move over. You're the Marcus Mariota in this situation. It's time to go elsewhere. Take it or leave it. They should be, your friend Ran, Kerry, should be calling Minnesota and making this trade happen.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Ryan Tannehill, you got enough quarterbacks over there, and two of them not going to play. So, give Minnesota and probably get something in return. I don't know what you're going to get. How many? The Vikings are going to be looking for a quarterback in the draft,
right?
Regardless
because Cousins was free agent anyway.
Yes.
Regardless
is
of
Tannehill last year of his contract?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to be looking for a quarterback in the draft, but you need someone to finish this season off. That's brutal for Kirk Cousins because he's had a really good career, stayed completely healthy the entire time, hasn't dealt with anything like this, no season-ending injuries, made a lot of money in that time span, and probably was working towards another contract, another guaranteed contract, maybe with Minnesota, maybe somewhere else. But that Achilles injury is it's a tough one to deal with.
I felt so bad for him watching that play out.
Yeah,
it was tough.
Yeah, one thing we did not hear.
You like that?
Aww.
You like that? You like that?
I didn't hear that.
Not your Achilles, buddy.
Nope.
That's damn.
It's tough.
Tough, huh? Matthew, what do you got on the text line for us?
Take it or leave it. Sonny Gray and Kyle Hendricks will be Cardinals.
I'm going to leave it.
Take it.
Really? Why are you going to take it?
I don't think that Kyle Hendricks, and I like Kyle Hendricks for what the Cardinals are, if I felt confident that their coaching could get him back to where he needs to be, but they're going for swing and miss guys, and Kyle Hendricks is nothing if not a swing and miss guy.
Well, John Mozeliak did say that they're going to have some guys that not exactly are going to be that way. It seems like they're going to kind of change their philosophy in some ways and maybe not in others. You might get a little bit of everything.
Like how I feel about the Blues, when they play well, I'll acknowledge it, and when they show consistency, I'll acknowledge it. With the Cardinals, when they show me what they're going to do in the offseason, I'll acknowledge it. Until then, I don't know what the hell they're going to do. It's like when I watch the Blues, I don't know what team is going to show up.
Last year, at the age of 33, Kyle Hendricks, a career low 6.1 strikeouts per 9 innings. His career is 7.3 per 9.
Okay.
So, I'll take Sonny Gray. I'll take Sonny Gray because that's it's going to get everybody fired up. It'll be the Bryn Smith, man.
That's what we're doing.
Bryn Smith, good lord. Better than Mike Leake, right? Kind of.
Yeah, same.
All right.
Same.
Take it or leave it. If City SC is knocked out in the first round, you still consider this a very successful season?
Ooh, Twellman was going in during the broadcast last night about. Did you guys hear him? He was ripping in because the guy, I'm not sure who was doing play-by-play. I didn't get to see it. Who was it last night, Rockio? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Whoever it was that was alongside Taylor Twellman, he brought that up. Like, you still consider this a successful season? And Twellman was like, no. Like, he just ripped into him for that. And because you did, I think the biggest point that he made that I do agree with is that you came in with not many expectations, people doubting you. They kind of used that as a chip on their shoulder at the beginning of the season. Historic start, historic season, and you need to carry that momentum into the postseason, and it felt like that wasn't matched.
Can two things be true? That you can have a successful season that ends in disappointment?
Yes.
Yes, but I think what he was saying is the way, like if it ends in the manner in which that game looked last night, just didn't look great. Just not getting after it and really getting the game taken to them early on, especially when you've seen City play so much better this entire season. I think that's the part that he's saying. Like, that would be disappointing to end your season. You know, you lost 4-1 last night. If you lose in that manner again in Kansas, that could be, troubling.
I would hate to have the personality trait in me that didn't enjoy this because the only thing that mattered was winning a championship. Because I think for an expansion team to do what St. Louis City S did was historic and enjoyable for me. I'm not going to go so far as to say it wasn't successful just because they didn't win a championship.
Oh, of course not.
I really enjoyed it.
I don't think
they are successful.
I don't think you have to win a championship, but I think what he's saying is to get smoked out of the playoffs when you're the 1 seed and they're the 8th seed. I think that is troubling. I think that's the part where he's saying, yeah, you all had a great regular season, but what the hell happened? And he's saying that if they go to Kansas and lose in the manner in which they did yesterday.
Yeah, that would be disappointing.
Yeah, it just didn't look like what we even saw from them during the regular season when they were doing really well and successful.
Take it or leave it. Your NFC West champion, Seattle Seahawks.
Take it. Are they in first place now? I think they are.
I think they did jump by.
Let me double check. They're pretty good.
I gotta think about them. They are in first place. They have one loss in the division.
Yep.
Ooh, I'm gonna leave it.
5-2, so they have the 49ers are 5-3.
At Baltimore coming up. That's their next game. That is. Let's see. That's a noon game on the 5th, so that's next Sunday. Then they have Washington. They're at the Rams. They've got San Francisco at home. That'll be a big one. Then this stretch, San Francisco at home, at Dallas, at San Francisco, Philadelphia at home, at Tennessee, Pittsburgh at home, before you wrap up at Arizona. So that's a real gauntlet of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row that are going to be a handful.
Yeah. I'm going to leave it.
San Francisco better get Debo back. MVP.
Take it or leave it. This Blues roster just isn't that good.
Ooh. It's hard to say that because I think that there is talent there with that young core, but it just doesn't look good whatsoever. It feels like they're missing. It feels like they are missing some skill.
Right?
Yes, it doesn't work well together.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fantasy team.
Yeah.
Right? Because under normal circumstances, you have Krug or Perunovic on your roster. You don't have both. You've got, especially if you have Craig Berube, you've got a big, dominant defensive center. And that's a legitimate top 6 guy. They just don't have that at Ryan O'Reilly in his prime. You don't have that right now. Ordinarily, you'd like to have one of your scoring wingers play both ends of the ice, like Jaden Schwartz did, or like Alexander Steen did when he was at his best. It seems like there's just a lot of things that are missing right now. And Kyrou, we talked about it last week, and it's not that Robert Thomas is a bad player. He's a really good player. But if he were going to be a Hall of Famer, we'd know by now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that, yes, you would. And, I think I said it the other day, you got to have some guys that are superstars.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that, again, have those blinders on, that just go forward, don't worry about anything, shoot the puck when it comes to them. And they are your goal scorers. They're your playmakers. They're the guys that create things offensively or defensively. You can be a superstar on the defensive end. It's just I haven't seen any superstars on this team. No. And you probably aren't going to win many games or win many championships without, 2 or 3 of those guys.
And and I don't know about the flexibility of Chief, but I do know that they had a massive defense when they won the Cup. Mm-hmm. And Parayko is still here, but you had Parayko, you had Bo, you had Petro, you had Edmondson.
Yes.
Even Carl Gunnarsson was, a rugged performer. And you didn't have anybody as as small as Perunovic or Krug on their team. And it might just be a matter of the quality of those players, or it could be a matter of the current players on the roster not really meshing with what the coach desires.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then that's a front office issue.
Yep, it is.
If you have coaches and players not meshing, if you don't have, it's easier when you are in college and in the professional ranks because you can draft or recruit the guys to fit the scheme that you want to play in. And so if you don't have guys that are able to fit in the scheme, or a coach that is not able to fit the scheme to the players, then that's problematic.
That is Take It or Leave It on 101 ESPN. Coming up with our fresh take, when do the Blues have to take a look at a system change? That's next on 101 ESPN. Hey, everybody over at the Fenton Bar and Grill had a great time when Cody Schrader, the SEC's leading rusher, visited on Friday. And if you want a great time, if you're a sports fan, and I know you are because you're listening to this show, then you need to head on over to the Fenton Bar and Grill. And the specials today are fantastic. You've got the Meatloaf Monday. It is sensational. They have great soup every single day. As a matter of fact, I had their clam chowder on Friday, and it is absolutely delicious. Plus, they have their 6 for $6 happy hour 7 days a week from 2 to 5. Tried those fried cheese curds. Those are absolutely delicious. And the road work on Rudder Road is done, so it's easy to get to the Fenton Bar and Grill. And now they have their own beer, the Fenton Bar and Grill Hard Working Lager. And if you stop by to watch a Blues game or you want to watch Monday Night Football or the World Series tonight, pick up a bottle of that Fenton Bar and Grill Hard Working Lager, and you will love it. Open year-round. You can relax on the heated deck during chilly days and have friends together for dinner, or just stop on by and say hi to Alicia and Colleen and Kelly and Ashley and Megan and the gang over there. You'll have a great time at the Fenton Bar and Grill. Tell them Randy sent you.
A fresh perspective on the day's top stories. It's the Opening Drive's Fresh Take.
Well, in the first period, we didn't have the puck, so it's pretty tough to score. They had the puck the whole period. You know, we had some looks second and third, but, you know, we're not, it's not going in easily for us right now. So, if you know, that's the case, sometimes you go through these spans or these spurts and things like that. But, you know, we got to play better defense. You know, we got to play better defense. Took too many penalties, and we didn't manage the puck good enough, and we didn't defend good enough. So we got to win close games, and you got to do those things to win close games.
That is Blues head coach Craig Berube on the heels of the Blues 5-0 loss Friday night in Vancouver. And as he said at the top, they just didn't have the puck. And it doesn't matter what style of play you employ, you have to be able to possess the puck, to shoot it, and to score goals. And I don't know how you get players to possess the puck better. It seems like either you do or you don't in a situation like that. And the Blues have people that have done it in the past. That's the troubling thing, is that the people that have done it in the past have to do a better job of hanging on to the puck. And that includes people like Shen, people like Robert Thomas up front. We've seen it before with Buchnevich. He can hang on to the puck. The Blues just have to do a better job of maintaining puck possession.
Yeah, they do. And I just don't understand it. How do you guys think that you go from offensively and just a better game overall to just absolutely laying an egg 24 hours later? I don't think that it has anything to do with short rest. I think that's where it comes into question. I think it is fair for people to question, is there a lack of talent there? Is there a piece missing? That's what it feels like, right? It feels like there's a piece missing with this forward group talent-wise. You had Ryan O'Reilly, and I know that even last season it wasn't exactly the Ryan O'Reilly that we saw during that 2019 run, but it feels like this season you're missing a guy like a Ryan O'Reilly, or even a Vladimir Tarasenko, or even a David Perron. We know how good David Perron was with the Blues power play, and the Blues power play this season is abysmal, so it feels like you just kind of went copy and paste from last season. I just don't know how you go against the Flames, where you had one of your best games, and you go and do well offensively, to just nothing the next game like that with the same guys.
For me, Kevin Hayes hasn't been as advertised yet. I expected him to be more of a difference maker than he's been so far. And I think that I've seen him play better. I think that he can still play better. But he's a guy that has to make his wingers better, too. And he didn't early in the season when he had Kapanen and Vrana. I believe he'll be back with Vrana now. So he's one guy, because of their need for their big guys, big physical guys, not their best players, but their big physical guys to play that game, the big game, a heavy game. He needs to, in my opinion, do more of that. You talked about taking care of the puck, holding on to the puck, winning faceoffs helps with that. They're bottom fourth in the league in faceoffs won. Taking care of the puck management. I hear Jamie talk about it all the time on the broadcast, making sure that guys it's tape to tape. They're doing a good job of great passes and just doing a better job of taking care of it. Turning the puck over and creating odd man rushes also is a bad thing. They haven't given up a lot of those, but they aren't controlling the puck enough, and they aren't keeping control of it enough in the offensive zone, which is part of the reason why they aren't getting shots on goal, which is part of the reason that they're always in the D zone. And the style of defense that they're playing now is allowed for all of those shots, but they're just not. They don't feel aggressive enough. And it's one game they are, then the next game they aren't. And I don't know, that part for me is a troubling sign of things when you aren't playing the same game every single night. And we talk about aggressiveness and simply shooting the puck. And we haven't played, we don't know, but it seems pretty obvious that if you shoot the puck, you have a better chance to score. The other night, Vancouver had 70 attempts. They had 35 actual shots. They had 20 shots that were not on net, and then 15 more missed shots. Okay, so you had 20 attempts that were blocked and 15 shots that were missed, a total of 70. The Blues had 22 actual shots on goal, 4 that were blocked, and then 9 missed shots. 70-35 was the attempted shots total in favor of Vancouver. You've just got I know they didn't have the puck, but when you do have the puck, even if it's from the blue line, you got to take a shot and see what happens. You have to. I don't know what to make of this right now, and I know that we have talked a lot about the defensive change that we've seen this season, and I do think that that's affecting things offensively. Do you guys feel that way? Yeah. I wonder, I don't know if it's solely on the defense, because that's something that they needed to correct. The defense last year was not great. They didn't, and you understand that there's going to be more time in the D zone because of this style. They've accepted it. For me, it's the opposite end. It's not getting the shots on goal. It's not, taking care of the puck. You talked about Kevin Hayes not being as advertised to this point. Do you think that there's a point where maybe you move the line and people around him, maybe the players around him, because he's leading the team in faceoff wins. He's the guy that is getting the puck the most. Maybe he needs to be on the line with guys that actually are going to shoot the puck better or be more aggressive when he does win those faceoffs. Maybe you put him with a Buchnevich or a Jordan Kyrou and allow him to be what he is and what he does best. You have to figure something out on the offensive side, because defensively, you already know you're going to give up these shots. You're going to block a lot of shots. But offensively, what are you doing to allow yourself opportunities to score? Because it's not happening at this moment. Right now, the Blues, they are 31st in shots per game. 31st in shots per game. How many teams at 24.7%. Guess what? San Jose is the only team that's so behind it's 32 them. Teams? And San Jose is bad this year. I don't know if you guys know that. Yes. Got 1 point I don't know if you guys know that or not, but yeah, they're really bad this year. I think that that's concerning. And then when you are continuing to do this bad when it comes to the power play efficiency, that's concerning too. And so you're talking about changes possibly. So at practice Sunday, Berube did move some things around. What do you guys think about this? On the top line, Buchnevich, Thomas, Kasperi, Kapanen. Mm-hmm. I'm good Interesting. With that. Saad, Shin, Kyrou. Interesting. So you're splitting up Thomas and Kyrou there. Vrana, Hayes, Neighbors. And then Blais, Alexandrov, Sundqvist. Those were the practice lines that we saw on Sunday. Vrana, Hayes, and Neighbors is intriguing. I like the passing of Neighbors with the shooting ability of Vrana. So you've got Thomas. So you split up. Who's Thomas with now? Thomas is Kapanen. Now with Buchnevich and Kapanen. Okay, yeah, I'm good with Kapanen going into the corner and working, and I'm good with Thomas setting up Buchnevich. And Thomas needs to shoot more. He knows that, but because Buchnevich can be a playmaker too. I kind of like that line. I'm intrigued, but I'm going to tell Kapanen, go to the net, and just stand in the blue paint. Go to the net,
stand there.
Yep.
Be in front.
Yep.
Good things happen when you stand in front of the
It
goal.
makes a difference.
It does.
We have Blues hockey tomorrow night here Wednesday night on November 1st. Blues at Avalanche.
November what?
November 1st. So 1 year.
November 1?
1 year Boomer Esiason did Monday Night Football. And it was actually the year that the Rams won the Super Bowl, 1999. And I think it was Dallas they were playing. And he says, Al Michaels, he was doing the game with, he said, Al, that's why they're 31th in defense in the league. So I got it from Boomer.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
31.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
With the Blues at the Avalanche. Wednesday night, pregame at 7:30, action at 8:30 here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, City came in on an off foot with an odd lineup, and they never played their game. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Number 1.
Yeah, it was, I would say, collective, not good enough. This time today, we had a lot of problems and just like unusual. No pressure on the ball, let the guys shoot, don't block, no blocking the shot.
Blum only as far as Kinda, the kick save from Berkey, Voltaire, and in, the lead again, serving, Polito flicking, Shallowy, and in, and it's 4!
We've punched teams like this in the face a few times, and now we know what it feels like. So, I think part of being a champion is also knowing how to lose. So, tonight, we get knocked in the face and we couldn't really respond in the moments or didn't get rewarded for the moments that we
You heard from Roman Berkey, the goalkeeper for St. Louis City SC, and that was Bradley Carnell, the head coach, on the heels of a 4-1 loss last night in Game 1 of the playoffs against the Sporting Kansas City side. And the two teams will go across the state next week and play in Kansas for Game 2 of the series. Berkey had an interesting take about the preparation heading into this game. A lot of time off for St. Louis City SC before playing in this playoff game.
Just then, what I can tell when they use us, in the training, in the games and stuff, sometimes it was just a little bit like, I was young too, and then sometimes you think, yeah, okay, today I don't feel really good, but it doesn't matter because the game is on Sunday, so we still have time. And then it's just like, then after a game like this, you ask yourself, what's the reason? And sometimes that happens, that happened last week in the preparation of this game. And but I'm sure that the guys now will understand, how you train, that's how you're going to play. And the game is just the reward for the work you put in during the week, to prepare yourself. And it's difficult to change something on game day or during the game, how you're gonna feel or how you're gonna perform based on how you did in training.
That's Roman Berkey, the goalkeeper for St. Louis City SC. Does it make a difference, do you guys think, that it really has been nearly a month since they played a meaningful game or had, obviously practice leading up to this was meaningful, but I can see how you could get into a take-it-easy approach because it's been so long since you've had to get really up for a game.
That's exactly what it sounds like he's saying, is that he did not like the training level and he didn't like the energy maybe that he was seeing during these training sessions, especially from the younger guys. And that's what it looked like, right? When you're talking about when Carnell said that it felt like, they got punched in the face, which they did. They did get punched in the face. That's exactly what it looked like. I mean, Sporting KC looks so much more aggressive in this game. They look so much more prepared. And I was very surprised that Carnell did not make some adjustments, especially in the second half after what you saw in the first half, which was nothing good there. I still think everything goes back to not having two forwards up top. I still think was a big mistake. I think that you should have had Sam Adeniran or Gio with Klaus, because when you saw in the second half, finally, when Sam Adeniran came in there, I felt like Klaus already looked better.
It's the rest versus rust conversation that we have. We talked about it with the Major League Baseball playoffs, having time off, not competing in those games that matter. City has had some time. They won the division the last game against Seattle, right? They didn't have anything that they were necessarily playing for. It's hard to recreate that environment in practice. Practice is great. It's great to prepare you for the game, but the intensity level at times will never be the intensity level of an actual game. So, yeah, they may have been a little bit lackluster in terms of how they were revving up for this game, because you can't recreate that. And once you get out there and have to actually play the game, I mean, Sporting KC had to play to get to this game, right? So they're obviously a little bit more polished right now than maybe what City is.
And with City, there is a clear pathway to victory. It's setting the tempo, it's being aggressive, it's making the other team play your game. And Berkey was asked if he's worried about City losing a little bit of their identity. No, I'm not worried. Just like, everyone is obviously, after this long season, a little bit tired. I feel it too, to be honest. So we just need now a good week, week with a lot of intensity in the training sessions and just focus. And I'll definitely make sure that the players understand that, and I hope the coaches will do that too. The two key words he used there were intensity and focus.
And they were lacking it.
Yep.
They were lacking that
Have those in
last
practice
night.
this week, right?
Yeah. And we already got some texts in, too, and I saw this, Rocc, that you were replying to this, about some people confused about AZ Jackson. And I think that the point being is that it would more be Stroud, right, Rocc, that would be taken out necessarily, rather than if you wanted to put in a Sam Adeniran or Gio, it wouldn't be AZ Jackson that would be taken out.
I personally don't think so. I mean, Jared Stroud is a solid player, but he's, they never play him 90 minutes. Whenever they do start him, they pull him, he's the 57-minute sub or the 70-minute sub. So I'm a little confused why he gets the start over AZ, and because I really think AZ opened this team up and changed how they played because of what he can do for the press from the 10. The texter is from the 314 is making a point that he is the number 10 and he doesn't create anything offensively. I think the if you want to criticize where the lack of offensive playmaking was from coming last night, I think the criticism falls on Edu Leuven, who isn't playing the 10, but he still is your number 10. He's playing it back a little bit more, but he likes it. I asked him earlier this season, do you like playing back, or would you wish you were playing a classic number 10? And he said, I like playing back because I can go to the defense, get the ball, and then when I turn around, I have the entire field in front of me to dictate what happens. That game last night was built for him to dictate the pace and everything, and he did not do it after about the 20th minute. As soon as they went down 2-1, Leuven disappeared as a playmaker. I think that was the bigger issue than AZ Jackson.
And Tim Parker did score the one goal for St. Louis City SC, but it was the other end of the pitch that St. Louis City had problems. Why was it?
Yeah, kind of like I said, I think just not winning the first and second balls, and then that kind of puts us in a little bit of a weird spot positionally when they're able to switch the field, and then, we're recovering backwards and trying to reset our press in a different way. So I think winning those first and second balls, being aggressive to start off with, definitely will put us in a better position.
And next weekend, St. Louis City SC will have a full week of prep, full week of training to get ready for Game 2, and they got to win one on the road.
Yeah, you got to win. Well, you're going to have to. You got to win one on the road for sure. You didn't have to. You could have won last night and then lost and then came back home and won. But I'm hopefully the effort, the energy. Hopefully they understand one thing about being a new team, a young team, in terms of not having that playoff experience. They got it last night. They realized that in every single sport, when you get to the playoffs, it is a different animal from the regular season. And people can tell you, as you play this. No, your intensity has to ratchet up a couple of notches, if not just one, a couple, because the team you're playing understands that, this is the playoffs. It's win or go home. If you don't take care of your business, you will be watching the rest of the playoffs. So I think City got a taste of that last night. They got kicked in the face. They realized early on, this is real. Despite the KC being the AC team, we have to come out here and control the game from start to finish. And hopefully, when they get to Kansas, they can do that.
Yeah, and they were lacking all that energy, and it's going to be up to City SC on how they respond and how Carnell responds to all of these things, because adjustments have to be made, and it is hard to really recreate that energy and that momentum in training, and that could be partly to blame, but I think there's some other things to point to too. It just was not the team that we saw had so much historical success this season. And Sporting KC, I mean, they have played more recently. I think that does factor in, especially the way that they were able to win against San Jose in penalties in the wild card round. I think that also played into this, because they definitely had more of the energy and they looked like they had played more recently.
Next weekend, the match will be played at 4 at Sporting at KC, 4 o'clock, and hopefully we'll get a better opportunity to see it. 99% of what MLS does is good. I don't have any problem with them being on Apple TV. They have a young demographic, a young tech-savvy group of people that watch their games. But having a Sunday night game start at 9:25 is a big miss, a big whiff by MLS. For two teams that are in the Central Time Zone, that didn't make any sense at all. I'd love to hear an explanation of why they scheduled that game for that time.
I have no idea. I have no idea why it was that late last night.
Yeah, on a Sunday night.
It's just crazy.
I mean, if you do it on Saturday night, you can maybe get an excuse. Matthew?
And if you're going to make it 9 p.m., make it 9 p.m., not 9:30. I know it's not a big thing, but you're only going to play for an hour and a half. So I mean, 30 minutes is literally you're knocking out of you're playing a third of the whole game later. It makes no sense why with that late all of a sudden 2 days ahead of time you're already saying, by the way, kickoff's 9:25.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
And let's just answer it this way. Would the NFL ever start a game at 9:30?
They will do like an 8:30 a.m. game.
No, they would never start a game at 9:30 though.
They gotta get eyeballs on the screen.
As much as we don't like the business because of what they did to us, the NFL is the gold standard for presenting their game correctly.
Yes,
and
I mean, they were competing. They should have played that game at 7. Nobody gave a damn about the Chargers and the Bears.
No, and you know what? You're
No.
the person that is going to watch the soccer game, they're not going to watch both.
No.
You're going to
It's totally
choose.
different fan bases.
Right, it really is. So MLS, be better in that regard. Coming up, we've got the fight on 101 ESPN. Matthew, do we have a fighter?
No, we won't.
We need a fighter. So all you need to do is text in 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. Text in the word fight and your name, and maybe Matthew will pick you to fight me next. No, you to fight me next on 101 ESPN.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Over the weekend, St. Louis City SC hosted their first ever playoff game. It did not go well. They fall to Sporting Kansas City 4-1. They will be back for game 2 of this best of 3 series in Kansas City this upcoming Sunday for a 5 p.m. start in that game. Also over the weekend, the Blues get blanked by Vancouver 5-0 back on Friday. They've been off since then. They're back in action on Wednesday playing against the Avalanche. That's an 8:30 p.m. puck drop there. And also coming up tonight, it's game 3 in Arizona. It'll be Max Scherzer facing off against Brandon Pfaadt for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks tied that series up 1 apiece with a 9-1 victory over the weekend. That is your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome to the fight. In the red corner, Average Joe Listener. And in the blue corner, the undisputed king of morning drive. Please welcome Randy Carricker.
Welcome back to the opening drive. I am Kerry Davis, joined by Brooke Grimsley, and it is time for the fight. And our fighter today is Michael. Michael, how you doing?
Hey, doing pretty well, but a little tired after that MLS game last night.
Yeah, it was a little late one. It happens. Hopefully we can figure some things out and get it right for the next game.
Did you go to the game?
No, I didn't go to the game, but stayed up and watched it and was very disappointed.
Yeah. I think you're like most of us today.
Yeah.
We'll get it better. We'll be better next game. Are you ready to take on? You ready to take on Randy Carricker?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. In Game 2 of the World Series this weekend, which Diamondback set an MLB record when he extended his postseason hitting streak to 18 games? Is it Tommy Pham, Ketel Marte, or Corbin Carroll?
Ketel Marte.
Which position has won the lion's share of the 69 World Series MVPs with over 20 wins for the spot? Is it starting pitcher, first base, or outfielder?
Starting pitcher.
Patrick Mahomes' 16-game division road win streak came to an end last night, which means the record of 20 remains safe. Which Hall of Fame NFC West quarterback holds that record? Is it Kurt Warner, Steve Young, or Joe Montana?
Joe Montana.
Happy birthday to former Mizzou coach Quinn Snyder. Snyder's first coaching job was actually in the NBA with which California-based franchise? Is it the LA Clippers, Sacramento Kings, or Golden State Warriors?
Sacramento Kings.
All right, we'll double check our score and we will bring in Randy Carricker.
Michael, how you feel?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Okay, that's better than City, obviously.
Better than all right.
Yeah, better than City. Better than the Blues, I would assume. Yeah, it's rough weekends, man. It's just a rough weekend. Randy?
Well, he could be Flames Blues or he could be Canucks Blues.
Ah, yeah, I forgot about that. That's a very good point. Well, the Blues, the Canucks Blues was on Friday. The Flames Blues was on Thursday. So does that really count as a weekend?
No.
Okay, yeah. Randy, say hello to Michael.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
Randy, doing pretty well.
Good to have you with us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing. We appreciate it.
Avid listener, as always.
Thank you.
You ready?
Ready.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
In Game 2 of the World Series this weekend, which Diamondback set an MLB record when he extended his postseason hitting streak to 18 games?
I believe that would be Ketel Marte.
Which position has won the lion's share of the 69 World Series MVPs with over 20 wins for the spot?
I would think that would be pitcher. Gibson had his. Levon Hernandez had his. We've seen so many pitchers. I think I would go, and there's just more. So I would go pitcher.
All right, Patrick Mahomes' 16-game division road win streak came to an end last night, which means the record of 20 remains safe. Which Hall of Fame NFC West quarterback holds that record?
16 straight road wins within the division, huh?
Mm-hmm.
The record's 20.
The record is 20, which remains safe.
Okay. Let me think about this. So, 99. So it would not be Kurt, because Kurt lost in 2000 in Philadelphia and then played 2001, obviously, went 8-0 on the road, but he never got to 20. So that would leave one of the 49er guys, right? And I am going to say, because of how bad the division was when Steve Young was there, it was the Rams, who lost to them 17 times in a row, Panthers, Falcons, Saints, Aints. I'm going to go with Steve Young, because the Rams always had a tendency to beat the Niners when Montana was playing, but not as much when Young was playing. So I'm going to go with Steve Young. I can't think of another NFC West Hall of Fame quarterback. None with the Cardinals, none with the Seahawks. So I think I probably got all three there. Unless now John Brody's not in the Hall of Fame either. Okay, I'm going to go with Steve Young. Final answer.
Okay. Happy birthday to former Mizzou coach Quinn Snyder. Snyder's first coaching job was actually in the NBA with which California-based franchise?
I think he was a Clipper. He was an LA Clipper, I believe.
Considering how this fight was going, I'm very shocked to say this. We have a tie. This is the first tie in like 2 or 3 weeks. This has been, it's been one question wins for the last like 2 straight weeks. We finally get to use one of our tiebreakers. So let's go through the rules here, because we haven't done it in a while. I'm going to read out the question. We're then going to give Randy a moment to write down his answer. Then we will ask Michael for his answer audibly. Then after that, Randy will confirm his answer both audibly, and because of these wonderful cameras from the Air Alliance team, he can show you right there on the camera as well if you're watching YouTube. And then we will have whoever's closest to the pin is the winner of today's fight. Michael, do you understand those rules?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Randy, do you have paper?
I do.
Do you have pen?
I have pen.
Do you understand the rules?
I understand the rules.
When we're ready for a tiebreaker, folks. All right, the Cardinals have played in 52 total postseason series in their career. That's always from the straight to the World Series, and we're counting also any one-game wild cards as a full series. So they have played in 52 postseason series in their career. How many have they won? The Cardinals have played in 52 postseason series. How many have they won? Just a moment, Michael. Randy Kerber is writing down his answer.
I am writing down my answer.
I didn't hear. No permanent marker. No, there it is. I hear the permanent marker on paper. It's just a distinctive sound.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
When you hear permanent marker on paper, you can hear it from a mile away.
They played in 52. Okay.
Carrie, I swear to God.
A mile, you say?
I will throw this pen at you.
I mean, you're the one that said it, Rocc.
Swear to God.
Okay.
And Randy has
What math did you do?
his guess there. Michael, do you have a guess, sir?
Division over there?
I'm going to go with 33.
Randy Kerber, please hold up and tell what your guess is.
My guess was 32.
We have a winner in today's fight. Kerry, I don't have to get out the calculator to do this one. We have a winner in today's fight. Was Michael able here to come in on a Monday? Michael's short on sleep, but the city of St. Louis is a little short on sleep right now. But he's able to force Randy to a tiebreaker. Does he get the win? Or does Mega Mind start the week out with his own victory? Ring that bell.
The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Kerber.
Oh, hold on.
Just win, baby.
I wasn't prepared.
Just win, baby. I'm sorry, Michael. Randy Kerber was, just one closer to you. They have won 31 of their 52 playoff series. 31 and 21 is the Cardinals' playoff series record. So Randy Kerber just got you by one. That was an incredible fight, Michael.
Hey, I'll take it. Anytime you can bring the king to the tiebreaker. That's a win in my book.
It was a very well done. And Randy,
Your Flames Blues,
Randy
Michael.
getting that fourth one was crazy. In Game 2 of the World Series this weekend, it was in fact Ketel Marte who set a new MLB record when he extended his postseason hitting streak to 18 games. The position that has won the lion's share of the 69 World Series MVPs at about 26 of them starting pitchers. Pat Mahomes' 16-game division road win streak came to an end last night against the Broncos, shockingly, which means that the record of 20 remains safe. It was in fact Joe Montana who actually did that in the NFC West. And happy birthday to former Missouri coach Quinn Snyder. Snyder's first coaching job was actually in the NBA with the Los Angeles Clippers. Randy Carricker pulled the Quinn Snyder factoid out of nowhere to extend that one. Sends us to the tiebreaker. And again, the Cardinals 31-21 in their 52 playoff series. Michael, thank you so much for joining the show and joining the fight today.
Will do. I'll be back one day.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. Coming up next on 101 ESPN, which NFL heavyweight is the most vulnerable as we go into the second half of the season? That's next on 101 ESPN. All right, I'm checking the forecast here because it's going to be 28 degrees tomorrow and 26 degrees on Wednesday. And if you haven't had your furnace checked, you need to get in touch with Hoffman Brothers because they'll make sure that your furnace is good to go for the cold winter months in St. Louis. The number for Hoffman Brothers, 314-664-3011. You can find them on the web at Hoffman Bros, Hoffmann, hoffmanbros.com. They're a proud Mitsubishi Electric elite contractor, and if you need a new furnace, they're going to be able to put it in for you within the first couple of days after they check out yours. But they're so honest and they're so good at what they do. They'll come out, they'll clean your furnace, they'll tell you how much life it has left and whether or not it's going to make it through the winter months. You don't want to have your furnace go out when it's cold in St. Louis. Trust me, it has happened and you don't want it to happen. So get in touch with them. If you are in touch with them, you might as well join their home protection plan. I'm on that, $34 a month, and they'll check your furnace and your air conditioner every year. They'll send you out filters, and they'll make your life so much easier. So make sure that your furnace is good to go for the winter months with Hoffman Brothers at hoffmanbros.com.
2. Mahomes getting away from Benito and then just heaving it downfield, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Justin Simmons. 5th time he's gotten Mahomes in his career.
We didn't hit our shots when they were there, and then when they were there, we didn't execute it there. So it was just a bad day for us. Like I said, all props to them, man. They played their tail off, and they deserve to win today.
That is Patrick Mahomes, who played his flu game. He didn't win like Michael Jordan did his flu game, but they just didn't win today. The Chiefs are still sitting atop the AFC at 6-2. However, they are now joined by Miami, Jacksonville, and Baltimore, all 6-2. The Bills are 5-3. The Steelers are 4-3. And don't sleep on the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 4-3 as well and have won their last 3 games now that their quarterback Joe Burrow has gotten healthy. In the NFC, the Eagles lead the pack at 7-1. Seattle leading the NFC West now at 5-2. Detroit is 5-2. How about them Cowboys? They're 5-2. The Niners have lost 3 in a row to fall to 5-3. And then I think you can look at the pretty much of the rest of the NFC and say, no, it ain't going to happen for them. There's really 5 teams that have a chance in the NFC. So of all of those heavyweights that I just named, guys, who do you think is the team that you watch them play and you see their results and you think, oh, they've got problems in the second half of the season?
What's interesting to me right now is what's happening with the 49ers because of how they have just really kind of fallen apart. And especially when you look at Brock Purdy. I mean, the first 5 games this season, he had 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Last 3 games, 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. And with the turnover battle that you're seeing with the 49ers right now, it's just kind of perplexing. I know that you have the injury issues, but I feel like we're really seeing Brock Purdy exposed for not being an elite franchise quarterback.
For me, it's the team that lost to the Broncos yesterday. It's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. And the reason being, I understand the 2 games they lost were against the Lions week 1. Kelsey was out. Chris Jones was out. Yesterday, you could say Patrick Mahomes was not healthy or was dealing with an ailment. But when you're looking at this team offensively, the one thing that they've had year after year is Patrick Mahomes has been able to find guys to make things happen. Last year, we were concerned Tyreek Hill is gone. Who's going to step up and make plays? If a team decides to try to shut down Travis Kelce, which come playoff time, teams will cater their game plan specifically around Travis Kelce, whether it's bracketing him, making sure they have multiple eyes on him, knowing where he's going. Someone else is going to have to make a play. If you can tell me who that someone else is for this team right now, I would say okay. But it's been too inconsistent. Rashee Rice, a rookie, he's going to have his ups and downs that most rookies do. Sky Moore, a second-year player, has not come along yet, and it's still not good enough. Kadarius Toney, the person that they say is the most dynamic and electric player, hasn't done. They went back to go get Mikael Hardman to try to alleviate some of these issues that they're having on the outside. Mikael Hardman, excuse me, that they're trying to alleviate on the outside, and it still isn't coming along just yet. So for me, it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs because come playoff time, the one person that will not beat me if I'm an opposing coach is Travis Kelce. Give it to anybody else. See if they can beat us and if they can be consistent enough to do it.
Sky Moore, that felt like that was a huge opportunity for him this past weekend, and he just literally dropped the ball in that opportunity. Yeah. And it felt like you could see, too, that Mahomes was not that trusting of his receivers. So if you don't even have that trust built up, then you can see where it results in what happened this past weekend with the Chiefs. And he doesn't have that many weapons around him other than Travis Kelce. And you talked about Toney. I was expecting for him to at least try to recover after what we saw in week 1 from him, but it just seems like he hasn't been able to do that. And I know that Mahomes says he trusts them, but it doesn't seem like he trusts his receivers right now. And why would you when they're not making the most of those opportunities?
Here's a team that has to be the best in the league because their remaining schedule, Seattle at home, then home against Cleveland, who has still the best defense in the league. Then you've got Cincinnati at home. Then you go to the Chargers, and we saw what they did last night. Then you've got the Rams at home. Then you go to Jacksonville. They've won 5 in a row. Then you go to San Francisco. San Francisco, I still believe in them, especially defensively. Then Miami and Pittsburgh. The Baltimore Ravens are really vulnerable because of their schedule.
The Baltimore Ravens, to me, have the two losses on their schedule should not be on their schedule.
Nope.
They lost to the Indianapolis Colts in a field goal game by the kicker for Indianapolis.
Matt Gay hit 4 50-yarders.
It was ridiculous, and it was terrible. They lost to the Steelers, in which they dropped, I want to say, 8 to 10 passes, and the amount of yards and touchdowns that would have come along with them just catching the football, that changes the trajectory of that game. I actually like Baltimore a lot. I know they have a tougher schedule, but it's going to be interesting to see who actually wins that division, because the Cincinnati Bengals team that they beat earlier in the year by 3 points is not going to be the Cincinnati Bengals team that they see here down the line. So they have to keep performing well. Offensively, they played lights out 2 weeks ago against the Lions. Yesterday, it was workmanlike against the Arizona Cardinals, which you shouldn't be workmanlike against the Arizona Cardinals. They're not a good football team. But this is a team that's going to be intriguing to watch going down the stretch.
That was a game where they just went out to the desert, had a good time on Saturday night.
Something.
Yeah.
Something happened.
Is that what it was?
That's what you do. It's, you know, a lot of times coaches and general managers like to say, we're going on a business trip. For this one, let's just go out and have some fun, play a game at 1 o'clock, and then come home.
We got to give credit to the Cardinals, too, though. They are a 1-7 football team that has been in pretty much every game that they have played in, with the exception of, I guess, the 49ers game and the Bengals game. They are a team that continues to fight. So I do like what they're doing. But if you're the Baltimore Ravens, that game shouldn't be that close.
No. Kerry, you guys played. What was Coach Tomlin's line? If we're playing in it, it's the game of the week or something like that?
Yep. We didn't play. 4 o'clock, 4 p.m., 4:05, 4:25 Eastern time. Those were the games we played. And we didn't play in many 1 o'clock games. Wasn't our thing. We the prime time game, either 4 or 7. As the times we were playing. That was the expectation.
Philly's got a bye week next week. At Kansas City on Monday night, November 20th. Home against Buffalo, 3:25 on Sunday, November 26th. Home against San Francisco, 3:25 on December 3rd. At Dallas on Sunday night, December 10th. Then they've got Seattle, 3:25 at Seattle on December 17th. And then they've got Monday, Christmas Day, 3:30 against the Giants. And then finally, they play Arizona at home at noon on the 31st. So every single one of the Eagles' 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, next 6 games, every single one of them will be to at least 95% of the country.
Yeah. It's the game of the week because we're playing in it. Yep. That's the expectation. They are the best team in the league right now. They took one terrible loss. It was absolutely horrible in New York to the Jets. Turned the ball. I mean, Jalen Hurts was throwing the ball. He forgot what color uniform. They both are green. I think he forgot which color uniform they were wearing that day because he turned the ball over too many times. But they are the best team in the NFL right now.
I don't think that they are vulnerable. I think they're that good.
Defensive line, defensive secondary, they play the game the right way, run the ball when they need to, and they are going to throw the ball to A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith is going to make big plays as well.
You ever heard of that guy?
Oh, yeah, we have.
Where was he from?
We don't have to talk about it. Okay. We don't have to talk about that. Let's not talk about that. But it is interesting because we were talking about the NFL at the beginning of the season and going back to the 49ers, we were saying that basically it felt like the 49ers were the team to beat this season as long as they stayed healthy. And now, to me, the Eagles, they look like the team to beat right now. They are the most solid all around, but it felt like that was the 49ers for so long.
And I know that Kyle Shanahan he's going to stick by Brock Purdy, but I wonder if people in San Francisco wish they would have gotten an opportunity to see Darnold yesterday.
I don't think so. I think people may have wanted to. There was a guy in Kirk Cousins that I think they were intrigued in prior to the injury.
Shanahan loves him.
Yeah, so I think that may have been. But Brock Purdy is turning the ball over more than he has, in his entire career. Obviously, an early young career, but the last couple of games just been turning the ball, throwing it to the opposite team more than we're accustomed to seeing him. And I think Deebo Samuel being out, not having that blanket to be able to, cover everything, and George Kittle, you got to find your guys, but he's turning the ball over too much right now for this team.
How would you have liked to have played for Mike Martz, who said when Kurt threw an interception, I don't care. Let's just go get another touchdown next time.
That's wonderful. If you're a quarterback and you can just throw the ball, whatever. Take care of it or don't.
Oh, those were the days. That's our NFL segment on 101 ESPN. Coming up, a tough night for City at City Park. The Rush Hour Reset is next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Kerry here from my friends at Window Nation. Fall is the best time of the year. There's so much to love about the fall, especially right now, the return of Window Nation's best offer of the year. Get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy, plus put no money down, make no payments, and pay no interest for 2 full years. If your windows are old or if they're hard to open or close, drafty, leaky, now is the time to call Window Nation. Take care of it today. The cold weather is almost here. You need to get it done. Call 866-90NATION or go online at windownation.com. New windows can save you up to 30% on your energy bill. Window Nation will measure that window 3 times to ensure the proper fit. They have a comprehensive lifetime warranty on the entire window, including the glass. The average installer has over 16 years of experience with 20,000 windows installed, and they are a company that has a 96% satisfaction rate, making them one of the top window companies in the country. Call them today, 866-90NATION, or go online at windownation.com.
Recapping the biggest sports stories of the day on the opening drive with a Rush Hour Reset.
It's 9:01 in St. Louis. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Time for our Rush Hour Reset, where we look at the headlines of the morning that we gave you earlier on, but the listenership turns over, doesn't it, over the course of a couple of hours? So we want you to know that St. Louis City SC lost their playoff opener last night to Sporting Kansas by a score of 4-1. At least it wasn't 4-0 at City Park. A game that started at about, 9:25 and ended late, and it was rainy, and it was cold, and it was miserable. And then Bradley Carnell had to talk about it.
Not a good result for us by any means. That didn't take away the occasion from the fans. I want to thank the fans for coming out here. I thought the energy was electric. I thought the energy that they put out from the beginning of the game was amazing. And then we go a goal down and show great response a minute later. And then two moments get away from us, shots from range. I think all three of their goals, shots from range, and then we're standing 3-1 down the bottom of a barrel. So, we've punched teams like this in the face a few times, and now we know what it feels like. So, I think part of being a champion is also knowing how to lose. So, tonight we get knocked in the face, and we couldn't really respond in the moments, or didn't get rewarded for the moments that we got in front of goal. And we couldn't really quite get those critical moments in our favor to turn the game around. So, we had a few moments. We unfortunately don't score the goal. We just lacked a little bit of urgency at certain times. They played a very direct ball. Credit to them.
As Mike Tyson once so famously said, everybody's got a plan.
Till you get punched in the mouth.
Exactly. Yep. And that's the big thing is, okay, you get punched in the face. We'll see the response by whether if this was a knockout or not. Knockout saying that you have no response whatsoever. You were punched in the face, you can't get back up. Or were you punched in the face where you kind of stumble back a little bit and you're able to respond in this next match. And that's what you need to see. And I think it goes to with Sam Dinnerin needs to be with João Klaus or Gio. I think that starts there. You need to be aggressive from the beginning. You need to be the one that is doing the first punch in this match.
Absolutely. Tim Parker scored the goal for St. Louis City SC. What happened defensively, though?
Yeah, I think, a couple of them came down to first and second balls that we weren't aggressive enough to step in and win. And then, when you're not closing the ball down from a certain distance, they have good enough players to punish you. So I think we definitely felt the brunt end of that side.
We'll get them next week. Next Sunday at 4 o'clock, Game 2, Go City.
I don't know if it was the second or third goal. They just couldn't get it out of the box. They could not clear it, and the opportunity to score was there. It presented, and there was a couple of guys had a couple of opportunities, Berkey being one of them, could not get it out of their own box. And, you give up that many opportunities, that many chances, that close proximity of your own goal, you're probably going to give up a goal.
We have Monday Night Football tonight here on 101 ESPN. Lions and Raiders pregame at 6:30. You will hear that one with Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner. Also tonight, you've got Game 3 of the World Series at Chase Field in Phoenix. The Arizona Diamondbacks pitching Brandon Pfaadt against the St. Louisan. Max Scherzer of the Rangers. The energy in Phoenix is going to be tremendous. I love the way Pfaadt has thrown so far, and I kind of think the Diamondbacks have found themselves. I don't think their young kids care where they are right now. They're aggressive. They're running like heck. They're stealing bases. I think Arizona's going to win Game 3.
But the Rangers have been really good on the road. What are they, 8-0 on the road this postseason? Does that continue? I feel like that could continue.
There is something to be said about being young and dumb when it comes to the playoffs. You don't know. You have no clue the importance of it. Now, if you're a grizzled veteran that's been in the league for 10, 12, 15 years and never won, that pressure is right there on you. But if you are a young player and just experiencing it for the first time, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And you just go out there and have fun.
I do think, Brooke, to your point, it'd be different, but Scherzer has not yet done it during this postseason. And it happens. I told the story last week about how I expected Chris Carpenter to go out and do it coming off an injury in 2012. Sometimes it just doesn't come back for a guy in a particular year, and he's got a lot of miles on him. And if I were a Rangers fan, I would be worried about Max Scherzer tonight.
Well, yeah, because of what you've seen so far. But I hope that we're going to see a different version of Max Scherzer tonight. Either way, I think this has been such an exciting series so far. And maybe we should have picked Tommy Pham to be the former Cardinal that was really going to hurt you the most during this World Series, because he looked really good in that last game, in Game 2, obviously.
Coin toss. Right? Because Adolis was pretty good in Game 1.
Yeah. I guess we'll see how the rest of the series pans out. But also what Pham did, too, did you guys see with Jace Peterson, there was a lot of backlash of why he was pinch hitting for Tommy Pham. And Tommy Pham came out afterwards defending, saying, no, I told him to do that. I wanted him to be able to get that opportunity. I think that shows that Tommy Pham, as much as we kind of make jokes at his expense sometimes with some of his personal stuff outside of baseball, I think that he is a good clubhouse guy in the sense of he showed his veteran leadership in that moment.
I remember one time we had him on the fast lane and talked about a team meeting. Remember that? He said, yeah, Yachty said his thing, and Waino said his thing, and then I said my thing.
But here's the thing. Nobody's going to tell him no, because who's going to tell Tommy, no, we don't need you to speak right now?
I love Tommy Pham. He's one of my favorite all-time players.
I love the image of just like, well, guys, now that those two have spoken, obviously I'm the natural third in this clubhouse.
Right.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah.
He's like the grizzled veteran on that team.
He's
though.
a great guy to have on that team.
One of the older ones playing on that team right now.
Longoria, right? And he's got a lot of playoff experience, so he's a great guy to have on that team. The Blues, on the heels of their 5-0 loss to the Vancouver Canucks on Friday night, are headed to Colorado to take on the Avalanche on Wednesday night. And, guys, I don't know if you've seen this, but the Avalanche are pretty good. So this will be a game that it's not going to define the Blues, but it'll present them the biggest test that they've had so far this year. They're 6-2, although they've lost their last two, and they lead the Central Division by 3 points. Colorado does over the Dallas Stars.
Well, surely, since they did terrible against the Canucks, then this will be a good game, right? Question mark?
You'd hope that it would be a good game, and please don't call me Shirley.
Hey,
don't call me Shirley.
we'll see what it'll look like with Vrana coming back. With him being a healthy scratch for 2 games, I know that Jeremy Rutherford of The Athletic has a great article about what Vrana had to say about that. And in the article, he has some great quotes about how he really took that in, and we'll see how he responds in this game back.
I think it's really interesting how kids like Vrana that are so talented, I'm sure that they got to the NHL without having to give 100%. And sometimes you just don't realize how hard it is to play at that level. That was, to me, one of the most amazing things about Orlando Pace, who is maybe the most gifted offensive lineman I've ever seen, but he tried so hard when he was a player. It's really easy, especially when you're a big guy and you can dominate people, to be lazy. Yeah. But the best of the best are the people that have the unbelievable skills and pair it with the unbelievable work ethic.
When you're given that much talent, God-given talent, you don't maximize it by working your butt off, you're really doing a disservice to yourself and to your teammates. And I don't know if that's the case with Vrana, but I know that, guys that are talented like that, when you match that with work ethic, those are the Hall of Famers. Those are the guys that become, legends in whatever sport that they're playing because they are willing to outwork. They're already better than you, but they're willing to outwork those that aren't nearly as good as them.
The guy that you played with or against, that it fits that mold. For me, seeing those guys, Isaac Bruce is there.
I mean, I worked out with Ike, so Ike and Aeneas are definitely
right. Those
top
two
top of the top.
Right.
When I talk about gifted, but will outwork anyone every single day.
The people that I covered are those two and Albert.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious, right?
Oh, Albert, just even watching him in his final season, of course, I didn't get to see him here in his prime, but still the amount of work that he put in, seeing that behind the scenes, I mean, he was constantly working out, reviewing things. You even saw him, of course, during the games, during the broadcast, of him going back and watching things on the iPad. He was just really nonstop, so focused on everything. And I think about on the other end of it, and this is obviously we're talking about hockey, but just thinking of players who didn't have that talent but did put in the full effort. I think of Carlos Martinez. He was so talented, but he didn't ever really want to take that extra step to really, keep that talent going or taking it to that elite level, which we knew that he had the potential of.
So what about guys that you played with or against?
It would be Troy Polamalu would be one guy that I know that worked tirelessly. Like we would be playing cards in the players' lounge. Troy would be on the computer watching film and figuring out what was going on. He could tell you based on down and distance, based on personnel, based on the receiver's alignment, with about an 85 to 90% accuracy rate that what play was coming. He was absolutely amazing. And work ethic, a guy that worked harder than anybody else, but probably not as talented, James Harrison. James Harrison he's going to outwork everybody. But undrafted free agent, but a guy that worked his way into being an elite pass rusher, an elite defensive player, player of the year, defensive player of the year, just one of those guys, he's working, you better match his level.
There is a great story in the Redeem Team documentary about the team going out in Vegas, coming back at like 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. They come back and they walk past the gym in the hotel, and there's Kobe working out and sweating.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to be
Always.
obsessive.
Yeah.
That's the difference, is being obsessive and wanting to put in that extra work. And maybe that's what the Blues need to do. Just be. Who do you think is the guy that you could kind of put in that category of being obsessive right now? Because I think Ryan O'Reilly, watching him behind the scenes, and he's gone. Ryan O'Reilly's gone now. But watching Ryan O'Reilly and how he went about things, last guy off the ice, first guy on the ice, was obsessive. Even with his workout routines, he was just so focused and locked in. I think Jordan Binnington, to your point, CD, is probably the only one that I could think of right now at this moment.
Yeah. And to get back to the start of this, hopefully Vrana, he's told Jeremy Rutherford he got the message. Hopefully he'll be able to live up to his skill set, because his skill set is enormous. That is our Rush Hour Reset here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, we'll find out what Chris Kerber, the voice of the Blues, thinks Vrana is capable of. Next on 101 ESPN.
Are we waiting on your little pill to hit home base?
Hey, if you're thinking about selling your home, I have some information for you, and it's from Gloria Liu from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. The market is still in your favor. Now and between the holidays is the last prime time of the year to sell your home to get the most money. And Gloria Liu says you can't time the market, but you can sell your home in the months that are statistically the most profitable. And that time frame is right now. So there's a couple of reasons that you should go to Gloria Liu. And the first is that she already has buyers for you. She's able to guarantee the sale of your home in writing because Gloria already has the buyers, thousands of ready buyers, and Gloria has over 20 years in her exclusive database looking to buy in your neighborhood and in your price range. This is how Gloria nets you the most money and creates the highest demand, many times with multiple offers, which means more money in your pocket. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. She's not your average agent. She's St. Louis local real estate authority with over 20 years of experience. It's Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888.
Sumner 1. It's time for Kerbside with the voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber. Brought to you by Scott Lee Heating Company, a proud Mitsubishi Electric Elite contractor.
The veteran voice of the St. Louis Blues is Chris Kerber, who joins us every Monday morning here on the opening drive on 101 ESPN and is with us now. Kerbs, good morning. How you doing?
Randy, I'm doing well. It was a late night at City Park, but this morning, refreshed and ready to go.
That's what we like to hear. Okay, your first year as the voice of the Blues was 2000, correct?
Correct.
And I know you've seen a lot of momentum swings over the years. And sure, we have selective memory. We have recency bias. I don't remember a momentum swing as dramatic as Thursday and Friday nights.
That one was about as big a swing as you're going to get. I mean, I was trying to think of, and I'm sure there's been a period or two where the Blues have been just completely dominated. I mean, that's not all that unusual for any hockey team. Even good ones in a good season. But what was so lopsided about that first period against the Vancouver Canucks was the shot attempts, 35-4. I mean, the shots on goal were 19-3, and I got to be honest with you, I'm not sure where two of those three came from. Okay, like we were. Okay, so listen, you guys will appreciate this. Okay, I understand the statistical accuracy is important. Okay, and where most of the off-ice officials sit in a lot of these buildings, you're so far away from the ice. Like some of this stuff is just hard. Okay, so the National Hockey League contracted with a company that helps make sure like shots on goal and some other things are accurate. So what'll happen is you'll get like the score sheet after the first period. And it'll say like shots on goal 12-11, right? Let's say Blues over Calgary 12-11, and then like halfway through the second period, you'll notice that the first period shots were changed to 11-11, and you're going, really? The one shot on goal was worth changing the stat sheet, right? Well, I started thinking about this, and I'm like, if you hire a company to make sure that you're accurate, if they don't find mistakes, then what's the point of having the company? So we're guaranteed to get like something changed if you think about this. Like they're like, I don't care if there's one or not. But at one point, the score clock said just one shot on goal. I looked down at the stat sheet; it had two, and I'm like, I don't remember that shot from Butch Navich. and Joe Vidal was doing it. He's like, I don't either. I mean, it was, to your point, it was just so crazy lopsided that. Man, it was a dominating performance by Vancouver in every way.
Kerbs, why the inconsistency? Why win well then lose as poorly as they do?
Well, I think you've got to look at the competition, Kerry. I think that the way the Blues played, they played a good game against Calgary, but the way that they played against Calgary, say coming through the neutral zone at times, and some of these little touch passes. The Canucks are just deflecting it down and kind of being ready for it. So, to me, it was the fact that you've got a speedier Vancouver team, a more skilled forward Vancouver team, a better defensive group with Vancouver than you had with Calgary. And some of the things that made you look really good against Calgary, which is not very good, it didn't work against a better team. So I think that was probably a really big part of why you saw one game versus the next.
Kerbs, Vrana held the scratch for 2 games. What did you think of that decision from Craig Berube?
Well, listen, Craig met with the broadcasters prior to the start of the season. We had a little powwow with them, no microphones in the room, no cameras in the room. And we asked, somebody asked a question about last season, and the question was, as a coach, what'd you take out of it? What'd you learn? And he said something very telling. Now, he wouldn't go into the exact details of what he was talking about, but he did say that I learned that, there are a couple things I could have done differently. I didn't do them. He goes, had I done them, they probably would have pissed some people off. He goes, that won't happen again this year. So we reply with, so you're going to take some people off if you need to? And he says, yep. And I think he realized kind of what's at stake for him. And I honestly, reading the tea leaves, I took that to mean maybe sitting some people, pulling some guys from the lineup and not really caring, right? The sitting of Vrana is an interesting one because at the time, he was second on the team in scoring with 3 points. But Craig Berube didn't like a lot of his play around the puck, thought there were too many benign minutes. And so he sent a message saying, look, this is not just about scoring goals. This is about how we need you to play all around as a forward and the expectations there. So my guess is the expectation was it was going to be a one game, and then back in there. But then when they dominated and played the way they did against Calgary, 3-0, he came back with the same lineup. So it's early season message sending. And whether it was Vrana or anybody else on the team, no problem with it whatsoever. I don't think Jacob was, or Jakub, I don't think he was happy with it. But I'm glad somebody's not happy with being benched. So we'll see how he responds if he's in the lineup against Colorado on Wednesday.
Now, Kerbs, I think it's easy to sit a guy that you claimed last year, that you got last year, but is it as easy to sit a guy like Robert Thomas or Jordan Kyrou if they aren't performing well? How would that go over?
Well, I don't think it'd go over great with the player, but I also think that if Craig Berube this year feels that he has to, he'd do it. I really do believe that. I don't think this had anything to do with that part. I think, you might see, and Joe Vitale brought this up. We touched on it on our reaction podcast too. You may not see certain offensive numbers at the beginning of the season with Kyrou and Thomas because of the fact of they are now you're not hiding behind Ryan O'Reilly. You're not hiding behind, and not that they were trying to hide, but the other team had to contend with Tarasenko and Ryan O'Reilly and guys like that. Now they don't have to. And so Kyrou and Thomas are going to be getting the best of the best every single night. And you know what, guys? For the most part, they've done a really good job keeping those guys in check. The Blues have been beaten by some other players, and it hasn't been, the top-line guys for the other team. I think our top six has done a really good job for the most part against the other top players, of the team. So that part's trending well defensively. So it's a little more complicated, I think, with those two than it would be with the role they're asking Vrana, to be honest with you, Kerry. But, I get the sense that if he needs to, he has no problem doing it.
Hey, Kerbs, an epic battle yesterday between your New York Giants and the New York Jets. Did you get a chance to take that one in?
No.
Good.
Hey, Liz, I will tell you this. I saw a score of 3-0 when I scrolled through some scores, and I almost texted Kerry, said, hey, they're winning.
Well, I just saw that Daniel Jones is going to be back for the next weekend. So
that'll be good. No, my focus this weekend, we had let's see, we got back in town about 5:30 in the morning, Saturday morning from Vancouver. We had an early morning soccer game for Ava, a CYC game, and St. Joseph won that game, which was good. And then that afternoon, Parkway West played against St. Pius in round one of the state volleyball tournament, and St. Pius beat West. But I'm going to tell you what, that St. Pius team was really good. But congratulations to the Parkway West varsity girls. They won their district. I think that's terrific. And then we had we had a club soccer game for Ava last night before the city game. So it was a good weekend of youth sports and then catching city play.
Love it. Kerbs, thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it. Have a good trip to Denver. Brooke, was there one other thing you wanted to ask about? Go ahead.
Yes, it's definitely switching gears because we were kind of ending on a happy note there. But Kerbs, I know that the NHL community is really mourning the loss of former Penguins player Adam Johnson. So I just wanted to ask you about that because it's definitely brought into a bigger conversation if net guards should be mandated.
Yeah. It's an interesting one, Brooke. The team's off today, so might get some more reaction tomorrow on this one. I did spend some time going through Adam Johnson's bio, and I don't think he was teammates with anybody, even though he played 2 years at Duluth. It was right before Scott Perunovich got there and after Justin Falk had left. So he wasn't teammates with anybody on this Blues roster that I was able to figure out there. It's an interesting one. I've seen guys with wrists get cut before. I've seen that happen twice in games. Obviously, Randy, as well as anybody, will remember the Clint Malarchuk situation that had he been on the other end of the ice, he probably dies. This one's sad. Guys wear, for example, I was talking, it was Kevin Hayes I was talking to, but some of the undergarments that it was Nick Leddy. And, like he wears an undershirt that, I'm going to get this wrong, but it's like a level 6 out of 9 when it comes to like being able to prevent you from getting hurt by a shark bite, right? It's a little more detail to that. So guys do take some care of that, but yeah, neck guards hasn't been part of it. This one's going to be an interesting one now that this tragically happened, and it's going to take some talks between the NHL, the NHLPA to see what it goes. We have seen Brooke. Look, it took a 12-year-old girl dying after getting hit with a puck in Columbus that led to the netting. I think in 2011, right? It was coming out of the 04-05 lockout that the league mandated visors for everybody. And the only people that don't wear visors now were grandfathered in. So, yeah, safety things have been coming, and they continue to come. We'll see what happens on this, but that really was a sad and tragic accident over in England.
Kerbs, thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon. We'll hear from you from Denver on Wednesday night.
All right. Have an awesome week, you three. Talk to you a little later.
See you later. That is the voice of the Blues here on 101 ESPN, Chris Kerber. Coming up next, the Blues appear to be headed towards changing some lines around. Is that necessary? That's next on 101 ESPN. We had a lot of rain over the weekend, and if you came home and pulled into your driveway and there was water coming over the middle of your gutter, you need to get in touch with my friends at Gutter Pros at gutterpros.com, and they'll provide you with new gutters or at least improved gutters. They do a great job of replacing your old gutters with new ones, and they do a lot of leaf protection for gutter sizes, all gutter sizes as well. At Gutter Pros, they tell water where to go, and water goes where we tell it. They have lien waivers with all of their invoices. They're A+ rated. They have a very professional staff of experienced salespeople, and they'll respond very quickly when you have them out to provide an estimate for your gutters. So if you're in the market for gutters for your home or your business, you need to get in touch with Gutter Pros at gutterpros.com. They're here in St. Louis. They're based in St. Louis. They work on both sides of the river, offering financing for jobs over $2,000, and they invite you to check out their website, gutterpros.com. They're right there to fill out a form and to get a free estimate from Gutter Pros at gutterpros.com.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. St. Louis City SC hosted their first ever playoff game last night. It did not go well as they fall to Sporting Kansas City 4-1 in that game. Game 2 of the series will be this upcoming Sunday. It will be a 4 p.m. start there, and it is a best of 3 series as City will look to stave off elimination and send it back to St. Louis in 2 weeks. Also coming up tonight, Game 3 in Arizona for the World Series. It'll be Max Scherzer facing off against Brandon Pfaadt for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks equaled up that series at 1 game apiece with a 9-1 victory over the weekend. Also over the weekend, the Blues get blanked by Vancouver 5-0. They're back in action on Wednesday as they face off against the Colorado Avalanche. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
When one team takes 70 shots at your net and you take 35 at the other net, and obviously some of those are blocked, some of those missed, but when what happened on Friday night happens, when Vancouver takes 70 and the Blues take 35, you got to change things up. And yesterday in practice, Craig Berube did just that. He had Kapanen and Buchnevich on the wings for Robert Thomas, moving Robert Kyrou in with Shen, who's between Kyrou and Saad. Then he has Kevin Hayes between Neighbors and Vrana. And then Alexandrov between Sundqvist and Blais, with Toropchenko not skating. And then on defense, Scandella was with Parayko, Krug and Falk, Perunovic and Bortuzzo, and then Leddy with Tucker. Let's concentrate on what's happening up front, though. Do you like, let's go through each of the 4 groups. Do you like the change with Kapanen joining Thomas and Buchnevich? I'm not. I hope if Kapanen will go to the net, I like it. But otherwise, I would prefer to have a sharpshooter on that line.
That's what I feel like is missing, right? And maybe this is Thomas kind of setting up Buchnevich more or vice versa. But I do feel like it is missing that. It's just missing somebody who will shoot. And we have seen Thomas shoot a little bit more this season. But I don't know. That it feels like something is missing from that line. I wasn't exactly expecting Kasperi Kapanen to be moved up to the top line.
And he's 6'1", 194, but he plays reasonably big. He's a guy that I think could spend time in the paint and be one of those guys. But they definitely need somebody on that line. And Kyrou isn't that guy. Buchnevich, they need a forechecker on that line. And Kapanen, we do know will forecheck.
Yes.
Will he shoot the puck?
Well, that's a great question.
You kind of need that, don't you?
That's kind of important.
But he can at least take away the goalie's eyes. Well, you have to ask Thomas and Buchnevich to shoot the puck, and he can be the physical presence on that line. You'd ideally like to have all 3, and you don't have that with Kyrou on that line.
No.
But the thing is, you just need to get those guys to shoot the puck to take advantage of the goalie not having eyes.
Well, you definitely need to shoot the puck if you want to score the goal.
Right.
I'm not I've never pretended to be a hockey player, but I do think in order to score, you got to shoot, and they don't shoot enough.
Yep.
And there are too many shots that they receive and not enough being taken.
31st in the league in shots per
out of
game.
32 teams.
Need to increase
San
that.
Jose's only worse.
Okay, so Shen between Saad and Kyrou.
I don't know. Like it depends on. I think that's good. I thought Saad up on the line when Buchnevich was out with Kyrou and Thomas. I thought that was going to be a good thing. They decided to put Buchnevich back up there after he returned from the injury. Who knows? I mean, these guys they just have to play better collectively. We were talking about it earlier, and Kevin Hayes not being what you thought he would be after being traded. Maybe he needs to be on the line with some of those guys that are going to shoot the puck, some guys that are more aggressive. He did a really good job. I think it was against the Flames where you talked about him going behind the net, keeping control of the puck, getting the puck to, was it Leddy that took the shot? and making that shot. It was a great possession for him. Maybe he needs to have more of those opportunities with some of the guys that are goal scorers, guys that are actually going to shoot the puck and he can control it and get it to them, and they can take those one-timers.
Well, and with Braden Shin and Jordan Kyrou together, they have played together before, but I almost wonder if this is Berube in some ways. This is just me kind of spitballing here. In some ways trying to push Kyrou in a certain direction, because if you guys remember, during that one practice, Braden Shin and Jordan Kyrou got into a little bit of a shoving match, and so maybe there's something there in trying to push Jordan Kyrou in a certain way. And they have played together before, so maybe there is a benefit there.
And Kyrou does lead the team in shots with 23. The problem is only one of them has gone in. And if it's not working with your elite playmaker, Robert Thomas, try something else and try to get your elite playmaker with somebody else as well. So to the third line then, with Hayes and Neighbors and Vrana. If Kevin Hayes plays the game that we're talking about, I like this line a lot because Neighbors has playmaking ability, and we know Vrana can shoot and skate. In fact, this group, Hayes isn't as fast as those two, but I'm really intrigued by this line if Kevin Hayes is willing to go in and be the forechecker that we expect him to be.
Kevin Hayes has been disappointing, to say the least, I think, this season. It seems like he's been a step behind in these games, especially in that last loss. That was not a good game for him whatsoever. I think that with Vrana, we have been talking a lot about Vrana just because he was a healthy scratch for the past 2 games, and somebody texted, and we're talking a lot about Vrana when we should be looking at some of these other players that they brought in, like a Hayes and even the re-signing, or the signing, excuse me, contract extension of Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. And that is a good point. It shouldn't be a lot of pressure on Vrana. I think that the potential is fully there. And I hope that Hayes can do better in these next few games, because I know that they brought him in to be more of a glue guy, but you also need a guy that can string together a little bit better of a performance on a consistent basis.
And the way I'm looking at this, I already think I know what Jordan Kyrou is, 37, 38, 39 goal scorer. I know what Robert Thomas is. He's a playmaker, although he has taken the second most shots on the team this year, but ultimately he's a playmaker. Vrana scored 10 goals in 20 games once he came to the Blues last year. He's a guy with big upside potential, and I just want to see him be his best. I want to see him achieve that potential. Not for the Blues, not for me, not for my edification. I want to see him do it for him. I just want to see him.
Is that
succeed.
what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so I want to see him put in the best position to succeed, but when he's put in that position to succeed, he needs to take advantage of it. And it's not pressure, because he's got the skill set to do it. It's just, if he plays hard, we saw it last year, he can be something special. And all I want to see him do is be that hard-playing, goal every game guy. I want to see him become a 40-goal scorer, make a lot of money in the NHL.
That would be great. And I think that the Blues would really benefit from that this season, because that's what we were talking about earlier, is it feels like they're missing just some pieces there when it comes from a talent and skill standpoint. And with separating Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas, I imagine that when they gave them those contract extensions, that they were envisioning that those two would be playmakers together on the same line for the future.
No doubt. No doubt.
That was the expectation.
Yeah, and that would be the hope, that you could get that sort of production, $8 million type production out of those guys. And it's interesting also, when you look at the top teams in the league, they have superstars. As much as we don't like Marchand, Boston is second in the league, and Boston's always good. But Vegas went out and got Eichel last year, and he's clearly a superstar and was great in the Stanley Cup Finals. Colorado has McKinnon. We know all about their great defense with Makar and Girard and that gang. The best teams in the league seem to have superstars that are playing at a superstar level, and that's where the Blues need to get sooner rather than later. That's Brooke, that's Carrie, I'm Randy, and heading down the stretch, we're going to have a little edition of Rocc Roll here on 101 ESPN. Hey, I hope you're feeling well today, guys. But if you aren't, if you're already fatigued, if you're tired, maybe you've got something that can be fixed, and that's low testosterone. Low testosterone is something that happens to every single male. When we pass our 30th birthday, our testosterone level drops. Well, there's a company here in St. Louis, a local clinic called Mentality, that can solve the problems that you have with low T. All you need to do is go to lowtusa.com and make an appointment for one of their clinics, either in Chesterfield or South County. And what they're going to do is find out where your testosterone level is, and then they have an FDA-approved testosterone supplemental treatment that will restore your testosterone level back to where it was when you were in your 20s. And you go in every week, you get the shot, and you are good to go. And it's amazing how much better you feel and how much more your life gets to be what you want it to be. And they'll help you out with insurance, too. And your out-of-pocket expenses will be very low when you visit Mentality. Get started today and be the guy that you want to be and that you were at lowtusa.com.
Let's rock. Let's rock today.
What do we got for Rock and Roll?
Well, this came across the Houston Chronicle has picked up a story of one of the most unfortunate no fun league instances that I've ever seen in a long time, and I'm going to read this directly from the Houston Chronicle. The NFL's merchandising and licensing division has sent a strongly worded cease and desist letter to the University of Houston to stop any further unauthorized use of the Oilers' trademarked quote-unquote "Love Ya Blue" uniform. Do yourself a favor, just Google right now Houston Cougars baby blue. You'll see the uniform we're talking about. In a letter obtained by the Houston Chronicle through an open records request, an attorney for the NFL threatened legal action if the university did not immediately stop what the league described as the University of Houston's quote-unquote blatant copying of the Oilers-inspired throwback jerseys. It also demanded that the university discontinue all sales of merchandising and remove any promotional campaign or social media posts that feature the popular light blue or Columbia blue with red stripes color scheme and design. University of Houston has said that it is not the same color blue. It is a slightly different shade, and that the baby blue is part of Houston history, not just Oilers history, and that's what they were trying to go for. Your thoughts on the NFL cracking down on the University of Houston and these, I'm sorry, I will say this, gorgeous jerseys.
They are gorgeous. It looks a tad bit darker to me, the Houston ones, compared to the obviously Houston Oilers throwback that the Titans wore this past weekend.
I mean,
it looks the same, but it does say Houston on it.
It says Houston, not Oilers. Again, there's a reason that the Oilers chose those colors. It's because light blue is apparently was a color that there's like the police department wore like a different color, like light blue, and they were trying to like copy that with the uniforms back in the day for the Oilers. So it's not just a Oilers thing, and again, it is a slightly different shade than what the Oilers is.
It does look a little darker, right?
It's a little darker, but I mean, I think they're trying to, you know what they're trying to do.
Can you hold colors away from other teams?
It's kind of weird.
Be able to
tap in the history of Houston football.
Color, like I don't think you can do that. But
and if I'm not mistaken, when the Titans. When the Oilers became the Titans in Tennessee, the league said they were retiring the Oilers' name and colors.
Yeah.
The league said that.
Yeah.
So if you've retired it, that means you aren't using it anymore, even though they're using it to sell merchandise to Oilers/Titans fans.
Of course they are.
Which is kind of stupid in and of itself. But it's, I don't see, I'm not a lawyer, but how does a judge say, yeah, you're right, they have the same colored jerseys as you, so they can't sell them anymore?
Well, the design does look very similar, other than it obviously saying Houston.
That's a well-designed jersey. You're hitting the nostalgia points. and you're not copying it directly. I think this is exactly what you're supposed to do.
But you know what's ridiculous? Why haven't they done that to Iowa? Because Iowa said they were copying the Steelers jerseys.
That's true. That's a very good
Steelers fan and said he was copying the Steelers jerseys.
So why similar?
Yeah, why hasn't that been sued?
That's a great point.
Are you going to get Iowa?
Like, I mean,
fans.
what is it going to get to? Like, if is Michigan going to start suing people if they do like certain kind of like helmet decals that like spread out from the center of the helmet or some goofy thing like that? Like, did Iowa State start suing people? They're like, you can't do stickers on your helmet for sacks and stuff for your players. That's an Ohio State thing.
Yeah.
Like, where's the line?
That league is so stupid.
You're over it.
It's
You're
one thing.
over
Not
it.
wrong. It's one thing when they do it to themselves and like they screw over other NFL teams, but this is across. Now they're coming after college football, and that just bothers me even more.
Did you know, by the way, that the original Jaguars logo was the exact same as the car, and the Jaguar car company did sue them.
Shocking.
And that's why they have a Jaguar head on the side of their helmet now, rather than the Jaguar logo that the car uses.
This does make me mention Friday was the 2-year anniversary. I almost used it in the fight. Friday was the 2-year anniversary of when the Cleveland Guardians tried to change their name and got taken to court by a men's roller derby team that was already called.
I thought it was a woman.
Was it? Was it? It was a roll. I think you're right. It was a women's roller derby team that was already called the Cleveland Guardians. And they was like, yeah, we just decided not to check. I love copyright stuff. It's the dumbest thing in the entire world. Also, we've got a lot of text today talking about the NFL. We got a lot of text today about Ryan Tannehill, who obviously doesn't need his spot with Tennessee Titans. So we're rehoming him, and a lot of people are throwing out the Minnesota Vikings. My thing is that there's a pretty clear winner in the NFC North, and your team's not that great aside from Kirk Cousins. Why wouldn't Ryan Tannehill be better with, like, I don't know, the New York Jets, who have a really good defense? And
they've won 3 in a row.
They have won 3 in a row and could need better quarterback. They need better quarterback play. Did you watch the game on Sunday? I'm saying Ryan Tannehill with the Jets.
Offensive line play.
Well, you're not going to get that.
So,
So you're just going to put in a different quarterback that's going to get demolished?
Doesn't matter.
I'm just saying, the Vikings should just go on a sale just like the Titans are going to. Danielle Hunter is probably going to get traded and be playing in a high-level playoff game for one of these teams that's actually good. If I'm the Vikings, I don't know why I'm wasting my time trading for people, but if I'm the Jets, I kind of sunk everything into this season already. Might as well take another shot at it.
I don't know that Ryan Tannehill is the answer that you are.
Is he an upgrade over Zach Wilson?
I don't know.
I don't either.
That's a problem.
I don't know. That's a fantastic.
This is when your team started for 7 weeks, Brooke?
7 for 4 years.
Yeah. Remember when I said Marcus Mariota got shafted or kicked out, and then you have Ryan Tannehill coming in that 2019 campaign? It's like that all over again. At least we have Will Levis now. I guess we have to see how he does in some more games. I don't know.
The Falcons moved. Well, they had their backup quarterback playing.
There's a certain amount of games that they win in a row. You're gonna have to start putting mayo in your coffee.
Oh, let's not make that bet. I can't do that.
Would you try it one time?
Would I try it one time?
Sounds like a fun bet.
Try it one time.
What if they win 5 in a row?
Okay, 5 in a row. Maybe we'll talk. If Will Levis specifically.
Do we have a deal?
Yes.
5
in a row.
Okay, fine.
We got a deal. Mayo in the coffee if they win.
He was joking about that, right? Like, there's no way he seriously puts
gross.
mayo in his coffee. He did get a contract with, is it Hellman's Mayo? That's the big one?
That's gross.
Mayo boy. Hey, he can have all the mayo he wants if he can do that.
5 games.
I'm the biggest Titans fan in the the right now. Yes. God, I'm going to be rooting for them so much.
This is not the reason why you guys should be Titans fans.
Who do they play going forward? Let's look at their schedule. Let's see who the old Tennessee Titans got coming up. So they got the Steelers this weekend.
It's a little soft.
Oh, it actually is.
It's a little soft,
they got
Brooke.
at Buccaneers winnable.
What if we
they
say
can beat
if he
the Jags?
Maybe we change it to they have to go undefeated the rest of the season.
Oh, you might be drinking mayo in your coffee.
What?
They
Can we change it to undefeated for the rest of the season? Why?
A bet is a bet.
A bet is a bet. Randy knows this very well, don't you, sir?
I have lost a few.
There you go.
But yours was a chocolate bunny.
Well, you got a tattoo.
I got a tattoo.
I already won a bet with myself because I had myself plus 10,000 that I got Brooke to agree to any kind of mayo in the coffee bet, and it cleared, baby. Ka-ching, ka-ching.
It's a beautiful thing.
Well, there's that.
Oh yeah. We have to see it. What prefer?
Oh no, I mean that's her morning coffee. That's how she starts. That's how she's going to start off the show that day.
Yes.
And you'll be able to see it when it does happen on our YouTube channel, our Air Alliance team studio cam. Just go to 101 ESPN STL on YouTube, and you'll be able to see it.
Going.
Great job today by our
Is
producer,
there a thing
audio
called
engineer.
tasteless mayo? Can I have that?
Something like that.
Pleasure. What do you like?
Thanks. So, Brooke, until the last 2 minutes, was this fun?
Yeah.
How about that?
How about that? Yeah, buddy.
CD.
Oh, Steve.
Something.
Yeah.
We want to see your face. Who said that? You want to see my face?
Hey, we've got Lions and Raiders tonight, and you can watch on TV World Series Game 3. You've got a great show coming up, a balloon party with T-Mac and Ajax, followed by BK and Ferrario and the Fast Lane. For all of us, we thank you for tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show. Till tomorrow morning at 7. Have a great Monday, St. Louis.
That's right.